Hello everybody, welcome back. So I hope you guys have revised the previous lecture plus you guys have solved the question answer. When I say solving, I request you guys to please write because practice of writing is very important, because what has happened is we have lost the practice of writing, right? And once you start writing the question answer, you will understand the flair how you're supposed to write the question answer in the examination, correct? In the first chapter where we had discussed about the introduction, the administrative power and need and everything of the GST, that have been covered in detail, and I have not touched the question answer book because that is just theoretical, and once you go through that theoretical answers you'll be able to understand that, correct? So that is something which you have to do it on a self study mode, correct? Now coming back to our this thing, like today we are going to start with chapter number 2. Now chapter number 2 is nothing but it is the concept of goods, services and supply. Now before coming to the chapter number 2, let us first evaluate what we had done in the previous chapter. Previous chapter में हमने क्या पढ़ा था? Previous chapter में हमने ये पढ़ा था that there is a something called as taxation, which is a financial burden, correct? Now this tax of financial burden are of two types we had understood. One is direct tax, one is indirect tax. Now whenever we talk about indirect tax, this is basically tax on goods and services. And whenever we talk about direct tax, it is basically tax on taxpayer. Now we know that GST is a kind of an indirect taxes. That is why the taxation is on the goods and service. The levy of tax is on goods and service, right? So before jumping deep diving into GST, first and foremost thing what we have to understand is what is the concept of goods and what is the concept of services, right? Before understanding this concepts of goods and services, we cannot move ahead to evaluate that what is going to be called as जीएसटी किस पे लगेगा नहीं लगेगा, गुड्स है या नहीं, सर्विसेज नहीं है, बिकॉज अनलेस एंड अनटिल इट इज गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज देयर इज नो पॉसिबिलिटी कि लेवी होगा जीएसटी का, करेक्ट है? सो फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट थिंग इज दैट वी हैव टू फर्स्ट इवैल्यूएट वेदर इट इज गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज और नॉट, राइट? सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट टास्क which we have to finish, right? Second task what we have to finish is that just keeping this goods, which is a tangible product, right? Just having these goods with me, will the government be able to collect taxes on this, or I need to do certain activity on the goods which will be called as supply, correct? So then we have to see that these goods and services have to pass on to certain activity, कुछ इसके ऊपर activity होना चाहिए which will be calling it as supply, correct? Now unless and until I give this particular remote to you, this goods to you, will this be called as supply just keeping with myself? No, I have to transfer it, I have to sell it to you, I have to give it on lease, I have to give it on rental, correct? Or I have to dispose it off. There has to be some kind of an activity which is required as far as this goods is concerned, correct? Then only this particular goods and services अगर सप्लाई होगा, then only we'll move ahead to see whether इस पे जीएसटी लगेगा या नहीं लगेगा. Unless and until ये वाला चेकलिस्ट क्लियर होगा, ये वाला चेक पॉइंट क्लियर होगा, we will not move ahead, correct? So first and foremost thing what we have to understand here is what is goods, what is services, and then we have to understand the concept of supply, correct? So now taking our discussion further, goods क्या है? Now goods can be anything, correct है? कोई भी चीज को हम बोलेंगे goods है, right? It can be any kind of a tangible thing which can be touched, felt, right? Which we can move is called as goods, or it can be immovable also, correct? Now something which is immovable also goods, correct? So basically goods are of two categories, movable and immovable. It is tangible, correct? So basically something which is tangible is called as goods. Now when we talk about this movable and immovable, so under GST it is said that goods are only and only those assets or those properties which are movable, correct? So we are not talking about this immovable property, correct? So now whenever I talk about this immovable property, इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? Now suppose you go and see this telecommunication tower, right? This is installed on the earth. Now ये क्या immovable, this is it a goods? Yes, it is a goods, but क्या can you move this? No, you cannot move this, correct? So it takes the color of immovable property, correct? So what we have to understand first here is under GST when we talk about goods, it is only covering the movable product, other than those are called as are not classified into the category of goods. Correct. Similarly, when you have supply of services, you have to see that is it is an intangible product, right? So so technically speaking, anything which is not tangible is going to be called as intangible. Correct. So anything which is not goods will be classified as services. करेक्ट. तो ये बेसिक आपको माइंड में समझना है. विल बी गोइंग डीप डाइविंग इनटू द डेफिनेशन ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज सो दैट यू अंडरस्टैंड मोर इन डिटेल कि ये क्या है. सो आई हैव जस्ट गिवन यू अ ब्रीफ आइडिया कि ये क्या होगा. राइट नाउ दिस इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. नाउ व्हेन वी चेक दिस आउट फर्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन, फर्स्ट चेकलिस्ट जब हमने क्लियर किया तो हम जाएंगे किसके ऊपर, सेकंड चेकलिस्ट के ऊपर, विच इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द सप्लाई कॉन्सेप्ट. Now, if I want to give this as a supply, suppose if I want to give this lectures, right? So this is going to be what supply of services. Now, this supply of services can be for what? For a consideration, or it can be free. That is without consideration. Possible, right? So when we talk about the supply, first and foremost thing what we have to evaluate is whether it is for consideration or without consideration. Correct. Now whenever we talk about this for consideration, without consideration, now why this without consideration is also important is here is that जब मैं consideration की बात करूंगा तब तो मुझे पता है कि पैसा आ रहा है तो मेरे को ऑटोमेटिकली वो taxability होगा. But if we say it is without consideration, there is no supply only, there is no transfer only, right? So here the government has given certain kind of a provision which will help कि इसका कोई बेनिफिट नहीं उठा सके, इसका कोई लूप होल नहीं निकल सके. करेक्ट. सो वी हैव टू सी कि जो सप्लाई है whether it is for consideration, whether it is for without consideration, this is what we have to see next. Correct. So this is how basically we have to move ahead into this particular chapter, and then this supply can be of what. Now suppose if I am giving you something which is called as lectures plus books. Correct. Now this lectures plus books is a combination of a supply. Correct. I'm giving you lectures also, I'm giving you books also. So now whether this will be called as mixed supply, composite supply, that is the next kind of a concept which we have to understand in this particular chapter. Correct. तो ये पूरा ओवरव्यू है चैप्टर का, दैट व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू कवर इन दिस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर, सो दैट यू गाइस आर अवेयर दैट वेयर वी आर हेडिंग एंड व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू इन दिस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर. करेक्ट. तो ये मैंने आपको प्रीवियस एक ओवरव्यू दे दिया इस चैप्टर के अंदर हमको क्या समझना है नहीं समझना है. तो फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट थिंग व्हाट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड हियर इज इट गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज और नॉट, एंड सेकंड थिंग व्हाट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड हियर इज दैट क्या ये सप्लाई है कि नहीं है. अगर ये सप्लाई है तो क्या ये फॉर कंसिडरेशन है या विदाउट कंसिडरेशन है, एंड इफ इट इज सप्लाई वेदर इट इज अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ टू और मोर प्रोडक्ट्स और नॉट, दैट इज ऑल्सो व्हाट वी हैव टू इवैल्यूएट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर. क्लियर. नाउ गोइंग अहेड एंड टेकिंग दिस डिस्कशन इन डिटेल, हम लोग स्टार्ट करते हैं अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए कि इसका इंट्रोडक्शन क्या है एंड व्हाट इज गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. करेक्ट. सो लेट अस गो अहेड एंड मूव ऑन टू चैप्टर पेज नंबर 17. Now when you see this page number 17, you have introduction and goods and services. Correct. So now let us go and see कि introduction के अंदर क्या समझना है हमको. Now why is this so important to understand कि ये क्या हम पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. Right. So let us understand this. A taxable event in any transaction is the occurrence that result in the tax consequences. Right. We know that unless and until एक taxable event होगा, that is the trigger point होगा. Correct. टैक्सेबल इवेंट अंडर जीएसटी क्या हमको पता है, सप्लाई है. वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड सो मेनी टाइम्स. राइट. सो सप्लाई इज अ टैक्सेबल इवेंट. करेक्ट. सो अ टैक्सेबल इवेंट इज एनी ट्रांजैक्शन और ऑकरेंस दैट रिजल्ट्स इन टैक्स कॉन्सिक्वेंस. जब तक ये टैक्सेबल इवेंट ट्रिगर नहीं होगा तब तक टैक्स का लागू होना नामुमकिन है. करेक्ट. सो वेरियस टैक्सेबल इवेंट यूज्ड टू एग्जिस्ट इन द प्रीवियस लॉ. जब मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करता था तो एक्साइज लगाता था. When I used to trade, then there was VAT or service CST. When I used to render any service, then there was what you call as service tax. But with the introduction of GST, all these taxable events have been merged into one taxable event that is called as supply. Correct है. So only and only one taxable event what we have to mention whenever you write an examination is that the taxable event is of supply. So we have to unlearn what we have done in the previous laws कि अगर मेरा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होगा तो मेरा एक्साइज लगेगा. दैट इज ऑल्सो अ पार्ट ऑफ व्हाट सप्लाई ओनली. अगर मैं सेल कर रहा हूं तो मेरा वैट लगेगा. दैट इज ऑल्सो सप्लाई ओनली. अगर मैं रेंडरिंग ऑफ सर्विस कर रहा हूं तो मैं सर्विस टैक्स लगेगा. राइट. सो देयर आर वेरियस टैक्सेबल इवेंट्स व्हिच वाज देयर इन द प्रीवियस लॉ. ये सारे खत्म हुए एंड द नया जो टैक्सेबल इवेंट आया है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज सप्लाई. Clear है? Now, the taxable event under GST law is supply of goods or services or both. Hence, it means that no supply, then there is no GST. Correct? If there is no supply, then there is no GST. Very very important. तो सबसे पहले हमको ये समझना है कि सप्लाई होना चाहिए. अब सप्लाई किसका होना चाहिए? गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज का होना चाहिए. So first and foremost, let us evaluate what is goods. Now, as we had discussed in the beginning, that goods का मतलब क्या होगा? Any kind of a tangible product. It can be movable, immovable, any kind of a thing, right? But under the GST law, they have specifically categorized that goods under 2 clause 52 means every kind of a movable product property only. Correct? So the goods की जब हम बात करेंगे under GST, that has to be a movable property only. If it is an immovable property, it does not fall into the definition of goods. Correct? It might fall into definition of services, but as of now it is not falling into definition of goods because हम खाली goods के definition को समझना चाह रहे हैं. Correct? Now, it is basically every kind of a movable property other than money and security. Now, when we talk about why other than money and securities have been kept aside, now money itself is a tangible thing. It can move from one place to another. Same is for securities, right? I can give you the bonds, I can issue bonds and all those stuff, correct? So similarly, people can argue that money also is a movable property. उस पे भी GST लगना चाहिए. अब समझो कि GST money के ऊपर लग जाएगा, then what is going to be the situation? Just imagine here, right? This is Mr. A. He has sold car to Mr. B. Correct? He has sold car to Mr. B for 10 lakh rupees. Now, this is what? This is sale, right? Supply हो रहा है, car का movement हो रहा है. Some activity is happening, sale is happening. Now, Mr. B has to in turn make him the payment of 10 lakh rupees. Now, if suppose money being a मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, अगर उसको जीएसटी चार्ज करना पड़ता, देन व्हाट वुड हैव हैपन कि ये बंदा इसको जीएसटी देता, ये बंदा 10 lakhs पे इसको जीएसटी देता, correct? Then what would have happened is that there would have been a vicious circle, right? So this money is nothing but a mode of consideration, right, to set off the liability. मेरी liability है Mr. B की, that he has to pay rupees 10 lakhs in order to get this car. So Mr. B has to fulfill this liability. How can he fulfill this liability? By use of money or by use of securities, correct? So that is why, technically speaking, this money and securities have been kept aside from the definition of goods. Clear है? I hope you guys have understood कि ये money and securities को क्यों हमने GST के goods के definition से बाहर रखा, because it is just a mode of consideration. It is a means of consideration, right? ये एक mode है consideration का, जिसके वजह से हम हमारे liability को discharge करते हैं, right? It's a mode of consideration to discharge the liability. क्लियर है? समझ में आ रहा है आप लोग को? Now, but it also includes, that means there can be certain things which are immovable or intangible, but they are specifically been included into the definition of goods. Correct है? So अभी तक हम क्या समझ रहे हैं? Goods means every kind of movable property. मूवेबल में से दो चीज को निकाल दिया, मनी एंड सिक्योरिटी को. बट इंक्लूड्स का मतलब क्या होगा? देयर माइट बी समथिंग विच इज अदर देन मूवेबल which is specifically been included into the definition of goods. So what is that but includes? But it includes what? I'm just erasing this. But it includes actionable claims, right है? ऐसा claim जिसके ऊपर मैं अगर action लूंगा तो ही मुझे उसका benefit होगा. Those are called as actionable claims. We'll understand that in detail. So basically, if I am buying a lottery ticket, लॉटरी का नंबर पेपर पे लग गया, unless and until I go and claim that, can I get the money? No. So any kind of an actionable claim, मेरा किसी को मैंने unsecured loan दिया, if I'm not going to ask for the repayment of unsecured loan, will I get this unsecured loan back? No. Correct? So these actionable claims are also included into the definition of goods. Correct है? Is this thing clear to you guys? So basically goods के अंदर movable property हो गया, उसमें से क्या चीज को निकाल दिया? Money and security को निकाल दिया, being movable but they are what? Form of consideration. Correct? Now but includes का मतलब क्या होगा? There might be something which is not a movable property but they're including into it. So actionable claim is included. Second, growing crops, grass and things attached to or forming part of the land. Correct? Now when we talk about this, land is an immovable property. अब ये land के ऊपर कोई crops grow हो रहा है, कोई grass grow हो रहा है, कोई things attached है इसके ऊपर और forming part of the land which are agreed to be severed. It is agreed to be severed. That means it is agreed to be cut. बिफोर सप्लाई और अंडर द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सप्लाई. सो आई एम एंटरिंग इनटू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कि मेरे ग्राउंड पे, मेरे लैंड पे, मेरे एग्रीकल्चरल फार्म पे जो भी चीज ग्रो हो रही है, I am going to cut it from the land and send it to you or sell it to you, correct? So that is what is what. तो अब जब वो कट हो जाएगा उसके बाद तो क्या होगा, मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी में कन्वर्ट हो गया. हेंस that particular thing is specifically being included into definition of goods, correct? So you cannot say that land के ऊपर grow हुआ है तो वो मेरा immovable property हो जाएगा, correct? So crops, grass, things attached to or forming part of the land which are agreed to be severed, right? Only things attached to the earth और फॉर्मिंग पार्ट ऑफ द लैंड विच एग्री टू बी कट, जिसको हम काटने वाले हैं बिफोर सप्लाई और अंडर अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सप्लाई, दैट इज ओनली बीन इंक्लूडेड इनटू द डेफिनेशन ऑफ गुड्स. क्लियर है? यहां तक कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो गया. नाउ बिफोर गेटिंग मोर इनटू दिस डिटेल, मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी क्या होगा? What is movable property? As I have already discussed, movable property will be anything which is not immovable. So a movable property shall mean property of every description except immovable property. Now what is immovable property? Let us go and evaluate कि जो immovable property की हम बात कर रहे हैं कि ये immovable property क्या है, right? So immovable property is nothing but it is something which is not movable, not tangible, right? So immovable property shall include what? It shall include land. Land is definitely an immovable property. And include का मतलब क्या हो गया? और भी कुछ चीजें होंगी जो इसके साथ include होंगी, right? Land plus the benefits to arise out of land. वो land से जो benefits आएगा, right? वो land से जो benefit आएगा, that is also an immovable property. Second, things attached to the earth or permanently fastened to the earth or to permanently fastened to anything attached to the earth, right? Now suppose this is an earth, correct? Now this is an earth, लैंड है मेरा ये. अब ये लैंड के ऊपर थिंग्स अटैच टू द अर्थ और परमानेंटली फास्टेंड. अब ये अटैच टू द अर्थ का मतलब क्या है कि मेरे ट्रीज के अंदर ग्रो हुआ है, राइट? दिस इज अटैच टू द अर्थ. परमानेंटली फास्टेंड का मतलब क्या है कि मैंने बिल्डिंग बनाई है. जब मैं बिल्डिंग बनाऊंगा तो बिल्डिंग का जो मेरा बेस है, नींव है, उसको मैं परमानेंटली फासन करूंगा. मैं कोई टावर लगा रहा हूं टेलीकॉम का, तो भी मैं टेलीकॉम को टावर को इसके अंदर फासन करूंगा, करेक्ट? तो दिस इज बेसिकली समथिंग विच इज परमानेंटली फासन टू एनीथिंग अटैच टू दैट. नाउ देयर कैन बी क्वेश्चन कि हम यहाँ पे ग्रोइंग क्रॉप्स, ट्रीज, थिंग्स अटैच टू और फॉर्मिंग पार्ट ऑफ द लैंड की बात करें, सेम चीज यहाँ पे, बट ओनली पॉइंट हियर इज दैट इज एग्रीड टू बी सीवर्ड, कट बिफोर सप्लाई. यहाँ पे क्या मैं ट्री को कट करने के लिए, अगर मैं सप्लाई के लिए, अगर मैं सप्लाई करने के लिए अगर मैं एग्रीमेंट में जाता हूं या कट करता हूं, देन ओनली इट फॉल्स इनटू डेफिनेशन ऑफ मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. यहाँ पे बिल्डिंग है, कैन बिल्डिंग बी कट एंड सोल्ड? नो, दैट इज व्हाई इट विल बिकम इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. Can the telecommunication tower be cut and sold? No, that is why it is also called as immovable property, correct? We'll understand more in detail. Now let us analyze what we have studied till now. See, so now let us go and see what we have done till now. So immovable property का मतलब क्या हो गया? Immovable property hence means land. We already know that. The benefits to arise out of land क्या है? Benefits that arise out of land is what? Now TDR, transfer of development right. मैंने किसी को डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए राइट्स दे दिया कि बॉस ये लैंड को आप डेवलप करो, उसके लिए उसने मुझे कुछ पैसे दिए. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज TDR, ट्रांसफर ऑफ डेवलपमेंट राइट. देन राइट टू वेज, ये लैंड है, this is a land, this is my home and this is my office. Now if I do not get an access from this path, I will have to go from here to here, so it is a long task. So what I go and meet this owner and I tell him ki boss please give me an access or way to go to my office and I will pay you some rent. Right to way, correct? So right to ways is one kind of an activity which is arising out of land. Fishery, if somebody is doing fishery on this particular land, or right to catch away fish, और राइट टू कलेक्ट ड्यूज फ्रॉम द फेयर, या किसी ने एग्जीबिशन लगाया इस लैंड के ऊपर, राइट है, तो उसके लिए मेरे को रेंट देगा. सो दीज आर कॉल्ड एज बेनिफिट्स टू अराइज आउट ऑफ लैंड. इज दिस थिंग क्लियर? सो लैंड भी इमूवेबल है, बेनिफिट्स टू अराइज आउट ऑफ लैंड भी इमूवेबल है. थिंग्स अटैच टू द अर्थ, मैंने टॉक अबाउट थिंग्स अटैच टू द अर्थ, things that are rooted in the earth like trees or embedded in the earth like buildings, wall flats, cement factory, etc. We have already discussed on that. Things permanently fastened to anything attached. Now anything that is attached to the earth, attachment to the earth क्या क्या है? बिल्डिंग है, सीमेंट फैक्ट्री है, वॉल फ्लैट्स है, राइट? अब जब मैं ये बिल्डिंग बना चुका हूं, इसके ऊपर मैं कोई चीज को परमानेंटली फासन कर रहा हूं, दैट मीन्स इसके अंदर मैं लिफ्ट को इंस्टॉल कर रहा हूं, करेक्ट. नाउ बिकॉज दिस इज अटैच टू द अर्थ और इसके ऊपर मैं अंदर में लिफ्ट को इंस्टॉल कर रहा हूं, दैट मीन्स दैट लिफ्ट व्हेन इंस्टॉल्ड इन द बिल्डिंग इज एन इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. बट देन व्हेन वी आर बाइंग दिस लिफ्ट फ्रॉम द लिफ्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर, दैट इज नॉट इंस्टॉल्ड ऑन टू द earth and hence that becomes a movable property. Correct है, समझ में आ रहा है आप लोग को movable goods, and that is what is the concept of goods here. Correct. Now अभी तक समझ में आया आपको. So basically goods are every kind of movable property other than immovable property, and it does not include what money and security. It specifically includes the intangibles like actionable claims plus something which is attached to the earth, that is called as growing crops, grass, things attached to the earth or forming part of the land which are agreed to be severed before supply or under the contract of supply. Clear है, concept समझ में आ रहा है. Movable का मतलब क्या होता है, जो चीज इमूवेबल नहीं है वो मूवेबल हो गया. इमूवेबल का मतलब क्या होता है, सबसे पहले इमूवेबल चीज हम सोचते हैं तो क्या आता है, लैंड. लैंड प्लस द बेनिफिट्स टू अराइज आउट ऑफ लैंड प्लस थिंग्स दैट इज अटैच्ड ऑन टू द लैंड बट विच आर नॉट एग्रीड टू बी सीवर्ड प्लस एनीथिंग दैट इज परमानेंटली फास्टेंड टू द थिंग्स अटैच्ड टू द अर्थ. These are called as immovable property. करेक्ट है. सो हमको अभी तक गुड्स का कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हुआ. नाउ अभी जब गुड्स की जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, it is specifically excluding money and securities. Correct. So money का मतलब क्या है, let us go and see what do you mean by the term called money, so that it gives you a clarity why money has been specifically excluded, as we have already discussed, but yet I will go ahead and explain this to you. Read this provision. So money means what? Money means what? The Indian legal tender or any foreign currency. Indian legal tender मतलब 100 रुपए का नोट, 500 रुपए का नोट, 2000 का नोट, 10 रुपए का नोट, 20 रुपए का नोट, anything or any kind of foreign currency, $1, $2, $10, $15, $50, $100, any kind of a foreign currency, that is called as money. So these are not included in the definition of goods. Then you have checks, promissory notes, bill of exchange, letter of credit, draft, pay order, traveler's check, money order, postal or electronic remittances, etc. or any other instrument which is recognized by the RBI when used as the consideration to settle an obligation. So important point here is that when any of these instruments are used as a consideration to settle an obligation, right, or exchange with Indian legal tender to another denomination, right. So basically जब भी ये इस तरह के instrument आप use करोगे to settle an obligation, that is called as money. राइट. बट मनी के अंदर भी इट शुड नॉट इंक्लूड एनी करेंसी दैट इज हेल्ड फॉर न्यूमिस्मैटिक वैल्यू, दैट इज हेल्ड फॉर इज ओल्ड वैल्यू. सपोज आज के डेट में, आज नहीं, सपोज इफ 10 years डाउन द लाइन somebody asks you, sir do you have 500 rupees का old note or do you have 1000 rupees का old note, and if somebody holds that and so it is holding a numismatic value, correct, so that is not a legal tender but it is holding a numismatic value. करेक्ट. सो दैट इज, तो मैं अगर किसी को 1000 रुपए का नोट उस टाइम बेचूंगा, आई विल नॉट सेल हिम एट 100,000 रुपीज, आई विल चार्ज हिम प्रीमियम. करेक्ट. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज the currency which is held for numismatic value is not going to be called as money. Clear hai? Is this thing clear? Right. Now certain notes which I have to make here is that one second. Money also includes the transaction commercial paper and certificate of deposit. So basically जो commercial papers हैं, C और CDs हैं, ये सारे भी nature of money ही हैं. Basically this is what is covered over here. You can read this if you want to, otherwise you can avoid this. Correct. So this is what is the concept of money. So basically money को क्यों exclude किया गया है? Only and only because they are nothing but a method of basically settling the obligation. It is used as a consideration, right? It is used as a consideration to settle an obligation or exchange with the Indian legal tender, correct? So that is why the money has been kept out of the purview of the goods, even though it is a movable thing, correct? Now that is what is there as far as money is concerned. Secondly, what is excluded from the definition is the concept of securities, correct? So now let us see कि security को क्यों निकाला गया है. Security also in term is basically a method of what, investment बोलो, a method of consideration बोलो or anything. So similarly, because money has been kept aside, on the similar line securities also have been kept aside. So let us go and see what do you mean by the term securities and why it has been kept outside the purview of the definition of goods, correct? Right. So let me just start with this. One second. Okay. Now securities का मतलब क्या हो गया? Securities is covered in section 210 section 2101, correct? So ये क्या बोलता है कि securities क्या क्या चीजें हैं, correct? One second. नाउ सिक्योरिटीज इज कवर्ड इन 2 क्लॉज 101, राइट? तो अभी हम गुड्स के अंदर बात कर रहे हैं. गुड्स के अंदर पहला चीज हमने एक्सक्लूजन देखा मनी. वी अंडरस्टूड व्हाट इज द मनी. सेकंड एक्सक्लूजन व्हाट वी हैव इज सिक्योरिटीज. सो लेट अस फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज सिक्योरिटीज एंड देन वी विल सी कि जो इंक्लूजन है दैट इज एक्शनेबल क्लेम्स या ग्रोइंग क्रॉप्स वो क्या है, करेक्ट? So this is how we have broken the definition of goods into the detailed understanding so that you guys can understand what is this goods all about, right? So securities का जो definition है, it has been stated that as defined in the Securities Contract Regulation Act, whatever is called as security is going to be considered as security under GST also, correct? Now it can be any shares, scrips, bonds. It can be derivative, it can be units of mutual fund, it can be security receipts, it can be units of any such instrument issued to the investor under any mutual fund scheme, or it can also be basically government securities, such other instrument as may be declared by the central government to be called as securities, as well as rights or interest in those securities. You need not learn or by heart all this. So basically any kind of a securities which have been declared by the government as securities, as well as the rights or interest in those securities are also called as securities, correct? So shares, scrips, bond, debentures, debenture stock, any of the marketable securities or its derivatives also is basically securities, correct है? ये चीज क्लियर है. ऑल्सो द राइट्स एंड इंटरेस्ट इन दो सिक्योरिटीज, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि इसका राइट्स और इंटरेस्ट को भी हम सिक्योरिटी ही बोलेंगे. इसमें अगर मेरा राइट है या मेरा वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट है देन दैट ऑल्सो विल बी कॉल्ड एज सिक्योरिटीज, राइट? नाउ देयर इज एन एक्सप्लेनेशन. डेरिवेटिव्स क्या है, फ्यूचर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या है, फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या है, ट्रांजैक्शन इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स क्या है, सर्विस चार्जेस क्या है. नाउ ओनली थिंग व्हाट आई टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड इज दैट इन केस ऑफ अ फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, राइट? फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर में क्या होता है कि आई एग्री टू बाय सर्टेन थिंग्स एट अ फ्यूचर डेट फॉर अ प्राइस व्हिच इज फिक्स्ड टुडे, correct? Now if that settlement is happening, if that settlement of the future transaction takes place by the way of actual delivery of underlying commodity or currency, right? If there's an actual supply of those commodity or currency, then such forward contracts would be treated as normal supply of goods and will be liable to GST, right? है. और अगर ये जब सेटलमेंट होगा फ्यूचर में जाके टेक्स प्लेस बाय वे ऑफ नेट सेटलमेंट ऑफ डिफरेंशियल ऑफ द फॉरवर्ड रेट ओवर द प्रिवेलिंग मार्केट प्राइस ऑन द सेटलमेंट डेट, राइट है. सो अगर एक्चुअल डिलीवरी नहीं है बट ओनली द डिफरेंस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल चार्जेस, राइट, खाली पैसे का लेन देन है, देन द सेम वुड बी फॉलिंग विद इन द परव्यू ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज एंड दस आर नॉट चार्जेबल टू जीएसटी. सो बेसिकली द ओनली लॉजिक इज दैट जहां पे एक्चुअल डिलीवरी होगा, right, then only it is going to be called as what? A forward contract which is a normal supply of goods. और जहां पे इसको goods के definition के अंदर डाल दिया then we know कि इसमें GST लगेगा, correct? But if there is no actual delivery of goods, that means there is no supply of goods, that means it's an intangible and hence it will be kept outside the purview of GST. Clear है? Understood? Right? So now important point here is that service charges or service fees or documentation fees or brokering charges or such other fees or charges are charged on these derivatives, future contracts, forward contract. The same would be considered for the provision of service and subject to GST, right? अब इसको facilitate करने के लिए, ये transaction को पूरा complete करने के लिए there can be certain charges, service fees, documentation charges, broking charges. Those will be considered as supply of service and then subject to GST, correct? So securities per se is outside the scope of the definition of goods, but anything which is facilitating to do a transaction in these securities or any charges or any documentation fees, वो सर्विस प्रोवाइडिंग है और उसके ऊपर जीएसटी लगेगा. क्लियर है? इज दिस थिंग क्लियर टू यू गाइस? सो बेसिकली हमने ये समझा अभी तक कि गुड्स क्या है. It's a movable thing other than immovable property and it excludes what? Money and securities. You've understood that now. So जब हम उसका पहले वाला पार्ट उसके बाद वाला पार्ट देख रहे थे, there it stated that goods also includes what? But it includes actionable claims, growing crops, grass, things attached, right? So now we will move on to this part of the definition and understand what do you mean by this. Correct? So एक्शनेबल क्लेम सेक्शन 3 ऑफ द ट्रांसफर ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट क्या बोलता है? एक्शनेबल क्लेम का मतलब क्या है? एक्शनेबल क्लेम का मतलब क्या है? एक्शनेबल क्लेम मींस अ क्लेम. आई एम क्लेमिंग समथिंग, मैं मेरा हक जता रहा हूं टू एनी डेट other than the debt secured by mortgage of immovable property or by hypothecation, right है. अगर मेरे पास secured debt है, right है, suppose if I have given loan to Mr. A and for rupees say 1 crore and I have kept his property worth rupees 2 crore, then this, if he defaults in giving this particular loan to me, I have his property in my secured, right? So ये secured debt है. तो जहां पे secured debt है, that means it is already a secure transaction, right? So I do not have to claim it. अगर ये नहीं पैसा देगा तो मैं इसको बेच दूंगा, correct? But if it is an unsecured debt, that means मेरा यहाँ पे कोई security ही नहीं है, then I will have to take an action to claim that money, right? So actionable claim means to any debt other than debt secured, that is unsecured debt, correct? Or to a beneficial interest in the movable property, not in the possession, either actual or constructive of the claimant, whether which the civil court recognizes as affording ground for relief, right? Means basically यहाँ पे वो ये कि unsecured debt के लिए अगर मैं claim कर रहा हूँ, then it is going to be called as actionable claim. Now, whether such debts or beneficial interest be existent, accruing, conditional और contingent, ये जो benefits हैं या ये या तो हो सकते हैं कि अभी exist कर रहे हैं या अक्रू करने वाले हैं या कंडीशनल है या कंटिंजेंट है. इट कैन बी एनीथिंग, करेक्ट? सो दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज एक्शनेबल क्लेम, कि मुझे अगर कोई एक्शन लिए बिना पैसा नहीं मिलने वाला है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एक्शनेबल क्लेम. सो दीज एक्शनेबल क्लेम्स आर ऑल्सो इंक्लूडेड इनटू द डेफिनेशन ऑफ व्हाट? गुड्स. So what are an example of actionable claims? Let us see now. Lottery, betting, gambling. Now right to claim the prize or the amount. मैं खाली लॉटरी टिकट लेके इवन अगर मेरा नंबर आ गया लॉटरी में तो will I get the money? No, I will have to claim the money, right? So right to claim the prize or the amount of lottery, betting, gambling is an example of actionable claim. मेरा किसी से 5 महीने का रेंट लेना बाकी है, सो आई हैव टू क्लेम द एरियर्स ऑफ रेंट, करेक्ट? सो क्लेम ऑफ एरियर्स ऑफ रेंट, दैट इज राइट टू रिसीव रेंट, इज अगेन एन एग्जांपल, क्लासिक एग्जांपल ऑफ एक्शनेबल क्लेम. क्लेम ऑफ मनी ड्यू अंडर इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी. इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी के अंदर मेरा मनी ड्यू है. इफ आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू अप्लाई फॉर दैट इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी का मनी, will I get the money money back from the policy? No. So I will have to have the right to receive the policy amount, correct? That is also one kind of an actionable claim. A share in the partnership is an actionable claim, right? Then you have fixed deposit in a bank. आपने FD करके रख दिया बैंक में, जब तक आप FD को मांगोगे नहीं, will the bank give you the money? No, that is also actionable claim. Right to the proceeds of business, जो business से मैं कमा रहा हूँ उसमें वो मेरे को चाहिए, that is also called as right to proceeds of business. That is also called as actionable claim. So basically what we are trying to talk here is that कि जो भी rights है मेरे को पैसा निकालने के लिए which is not secured, correct, that is called as actionable claim. It can be what? It can be contingent, accrued, it can be existing, non-existing, conditional, it can be anything, correct? So only point we have to understand here is that actionable claim पूरा का पूरा actionable claim included नहीं है definition of goods के अंदर. Actionable claim only related to lottery, betting and gambling will be in the scope of supply. All other actionable claims have been kept outside the scope of supply. इसके अलावा कोई भी राइट्स जो हैं उसको बाहर रखा गया है. ओनली लॉटरी, बेटिंग एंड गैम्बलिंग will be included in the definition of goods. क्लियर है? यहां तक कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो गया आप लोग का, राइट है? नाउ मूविंग फर्दर वी विल सी कि ये जो उसका सेकेंड पार्ट था इंक्लूजन का, वेयर वी हैड सीन ग्रोइंग क्रॉप्स, grass, things attached to or forming part of the land, correct? So what do you mean by this? We'll just quickly wrap up this. Growing crops का मतलब grapes, wheat, sugarcane जो उसमें grow हो रहे हैं crops. Grass generally can be used as fodder. Things attached to the earth like banyan tree, oak tree, teak tree, these are something called as attached to earth. अगर उसके लिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है कि मैं उसको कट करके बाहर बेचने वाला हूं, then it is going to be falling under the definition of goods. क्लियर है? So as of now we have understood the concept of good in detail. Now what do you mean by the concept of goods? Let us quickly recap what we have done in the goods. Goods means every kind of movable property. जहां मैं movable property बोला, मैं वहां पे उसको मैंने immovable property से अलग कर दिया. immovable property का मतलब क्या हो गया? लैंड हो गया, benefits arising out of land हो गया. benefits arising out of land क्या हो गया? TDR हो गया, राइट्स हो गया, फिशरी राइट्स हो गया, मार्केट लगाया, एग्जीबिशन लगाया, उसका जो रेंट लिया मैंने, और थिंग्स अटैच्ड टू द अर्थ है, राइट? इज समथिंग व्हिच इज अटैच्ड टू द अर्थ, दैट कैन बी बिल्डिंग्स, वॉल, फ्लैट्स, ट्रीज, राइट है, जिसके लिए मैंने ट्रीज के लिए अभी तक मैंने कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं किया कि मैं काट के बेचने वाला हूं. दोज आर कॉल्ड एज थिंग्स अटैच्ड टू द अर्थ. और परमानेंटली फास्टेंड टू एनीथिंग अटैच टू द अर्थ। अब बिल्डिंग मैंने बना लिया है, अब बिल्डिंग के अंदर मैं स्क्रू से क्या करूंगा, लिफ्ट को इंस्टॉल करूंगा, राइट। सो इट इज परमानेंटली फास्टेंड। बिल्डिंग के अंदर मैं कोई जेनसेट लगा दूंगा, इट इज परमानेंटली फास्टेंड। बिल्डिंग के ऊपर मैं कोई टावर लगा दूंगा, इट इज परमानेंटली फास्टेंड। सो दीज आर समथिंग विच इज कॉल्ड एज इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, करेक्ट। सो दिस इज व्हाट वी अंडरस्टूड, दैट गुड्स मीन्स एवरी काइंड ऑफ मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी other than money and security. Why money and securities have been kept aside? Because money is a form of consideration and it is just to settle my liability. That is why it is kept outside the scope of the goods का definition. Because अगर जब मैं consideration दूंगा money को ही, अगर मैं GST लगाऊंगा, then it becomes a vicious cycle and it becomes a never ending story, correct? बट इट इंक्लूड्स, मतलब क्या हो गया, मूवेबल तो है ही, उसके अलावा देर कैन बी समथिंग विच इज इंक्लूडेड। दैट मीन्स देर विल बी सर्टन थिंग intangible which will be included, but includes what? Actionable claims, growing crops, grass, things attached to or forming part of the land which should be technically be immovable property. But अगर उसका मैंने agreement कर दिया है that I will cut those things and supply, then it will form part of my definition of goods. क्लियर है? यहां तक आपका गुड्स का कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो गया। सो अगर सबसे पहले मेरा चेकलिस्ट क्या बोलता है कि अगर ये गुड्स हैं, देन ओनली आई मूव फॉरवर्ड टू सी कि इसका सप्लाई हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है, करेक्ट है। नाउ once we understood this concept of goods, let us now go and see the concept of supply services. Correct. So now we will see the concept of service. Service क्या बोलते हैं? That is on the page number 19. 18 we have done, 19, right? So services क्या बोलते हैं? Let us see now. Okay, when we talk about these goods, there is one circular which is talking about the priority sector lending certificate. Now what is this PSLC? I'll explain you in brief कि PSLCs क्या है। कि ये PSLCs जो हैं, priority sector lending certificates. Now what do you mean by this priority sector lending certificate? इंडिया का priority sector क्या है? एग्रीकल्चर। लेंडिंग का मतलब क्या होता है? लोन देना। लोन जब देते हो तो सर्टिफिकेट इश्यू करते हो, राइट है। सो देर आर बैंक्स विच आर रिक्वायर्ड टू इश्यू दिस प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग सर्टिफिकेट, राइट है। दैट मीन्स दे हैव टू कंपल्सरीली गिव सो मच ऑफ प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग, करेक्ट। दैट मीन्स सपोज देयर इज टू काइंड ऑफ बैंक्स, वन इज SBI and say another is Yes Bank. So SBI is there inside every villages. It is enroded inside lanes of India, correct? And Yes Bank is there mostly in the urban areas, correct? So every bank has to fulfill their quota of PSLC. Now suppose SBI has to do a quota of say 500 CR and it has done the quota or given PSLC of 700 CR. So this 200 CR is an extra which they have done. On the other hand, Yes Bank had to do 300 CR as PSLC, but they have done only 100 CR as PSLC. They are having a shortfall of 200 CR, and they are having the more of this 200 CR. They are having shortfall this 200 CR. So there is a website of the RBI which is called as eKuber. eKuber में both of the parties can log in. This party can sell and this party can buy, right? So this is what is called as priority sector lending certificates का trading. Right? Now, when the Yes Bank logs on to this particular portal, he does not know whose certificates he is buying, correct? So that is why what happens is that under this scenario, SBI does not know he is selling it to whom, right? So the place of supply or the location of recipient is not known. Hence, by default, it has been classified as interstate transaction. Correct? So whenever there is a transaction of PSLC, it is going to be classified as interstate transaction. Now, the question what comes here is that whether they will fall under the definition of securities or not. Why? Because it is also certificate. But there is a clarification of RBI which states that these PSLCs are nothing but goods, and it is like the goods which are similar to tradable duty scripts, renewable energy certificates, REP license, replenishment license, which were earlier attracted to VAT, right? So it is similar to these kind of licenses or tradable scripts, and they are classified as goods, and hence इसके ऊपर GST will be applicable as a goods, right? So concluding this circular, PSLCs are goods and not securities. This has been clarified. The sale of PSLC is supply of goods under section 7(1)(a). Why? Because we have seen that it is goods and it has not been excluded under the coverage of securities and taxable at the rate of 12%. Now, nature of supply I have already discussed with you. It is always going to be interstate, and hence because of interstate IGST would be leviable. And this IGST, ये जो Yes Bank लेगा, this IGST will be payable on the reverse charge basis, correct? This person will have to make the payment on by the recipient itself, correct? So this is what is there as far as the concepts of good is concerned. So only thing, अगर एग्जाम में आपको PSLC के बारे में पूछा, then don't confuse yourself that it is securities and hence it is outside the purview of goods. No, it is not securities, it is goods, and hence trading of these PSLCs are on the eKuber platform, and hence because the buyer and seller do not know each other, that is why that is the nature of supply is going to be called as interstate supply, and hence IGST will be levied, correct? This IGST will be paid by the recipient on the reverse charge basis. Clear है? यहाँ तक concept clear है goods का, correct? So now let us go and see what do you mean by services, correct? Let me just undo this, 1 second. Correct. So now let us see the concept of service क्या है, correct? Let me just erase everything for you guys. So now what is this services is what has been defined in 2 clause 102. So services क्या होगा, right है? So basically we have already discussed services का मतलब क्या होगा, एनीथिंग विच इज नॉट गुड्स, टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग जो गुड्स के डेफिनेशन में फॉल नहीं करता है वो क्या होगा, सर्विसेज होगा. नाउ व्हाट इज नॉट कवर्ड इन गुड्स, यू ऑलरेडी नो दैट गुड्स के अंदर क्या कवर नहीं है, इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, money and securities, but money and securities is specifically excluded in the definition of services also. That means when you talk about this money and securities, they are neither supply of goods nor services, correct? So ना ही वो goods हैं और ना ही वो services है. So money and securities are neither goods nor services, correct? So services means anything other than goods. Other than goods का मतलब क्या हो गया, any immovable property will be classified as services, and money and securities have been excluded similar fashion. जैसे गुड्स के अंदर किया था वैसे सर्विसेज के अंदर भी इसको एक्सक्लूड किया गया है, करेक्ट? बट इट इंक्लूड्स, व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट इंक्लूजन, दैट मीन्स इट शुड बी समथिंग विच इज डिफरेंट देन इट्स ओरिजिनल नेचर, बट इट इंक्लूड्स व्हाट, एक्टिविटीज रिलेटिंग टू यूज ऑफ मनी, राइट? अब मनीज को तो मैंने यहां से बाहर निकाल दिया है, बट उसका जो यूज कर रहा हूं, अगर इफ आई एम यूजिंग माई मनी and that is an activity what I am doing of this money. Now money is a movable product, movable item, we know, but isko if I am using it as a consideration, that is why the idea behind keeping money out of the definition of goods and services is that it is used as a consideration. But if I am using this money, now what do you mean by use of this money? Now I have an extra money, I do not have to pay anything to anybody, so I give a loan to Mr. A. In turn, I am getting what? Interest. Or I will be getting certain discounts on the goods which he is selling, correct? Now, if I am getting this interest or discount, that means I am increasing my money, right? पैसे से पैसे को बढ़ा रहा हूं. That means I am using my money not as the form of consideration, but I am using this money, right? That is use of money, right? So, it includes the use of money, correct? So, services means anything other than goods. Hence, other than goods का मतलब क्या हो गया? Hence, we can say that immovable property is not goods, but it will fall within the purview of services as per section 2102. Clear है? Now, this we have already discussed, and hence we can say that any transaction in immovable property can be termed as services. Suppose transfer of land हुआ, it's a transaction in immovable property, so it can be termed as service, correct? So we can say that any transaction in immovable property can be termed as service. Clear? So basically other than goods का जब मतलब हमको निकालना है, that means it is talking about your immovable properties, correct? So immovable properties will fall in the definition of services. Now when we talk about this money, हमने समझ लिया, security हमने समझ लिया, activities relating to use of money. What do you mean by activities relating to use of money? Even if money is not service, राइट है, मनी नाइदर गुड्स है नॉर सर्विस है, बट एक्टिविटी रिलेटिंग टू यूज ऑफ मनी इज अ सर्विस. फॉर एग्जांपल लेंडिंग मनी एंड रिसीविंग इंटरेस्ट, दैट इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ व्हाट, सर्विस, करेक्ट? मैं सर्विस दे रहा हूं, लोन देने का सर्विस दे रहा हूं, करेक्ट? तो दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज यूज ऑफ मनी. बट लिंकिंग टू एंट्री नंबर 27 जहां पे एग्जेम्पशन हम पढ़ेंगे, सर्विसेज बाय वे ऑफ एक्सटेंडिंग लोन्स और डिपॉजिट्स और एडवांसेस, एंड सो फार द कंसिडरेशन फॉर डूइंग दिस सर्विस, consideration for giving this loan, consideration for giving this advance deposit is represented by way of interest or discount is exempt. Correct? So if I am giving this as an advance, समझो कि आज मैं कोई गुड्स मैन्युफैक्चर करने वाला हूं, करेक्ट? सो आई गो एंड से कि दिस पर्टिकुलर लैपटॉप आई एम गोइंग टू मैन्युफैक्चर. सो आई गो एंड मीट द कंपनी, से आई गो एंड मीट रिलायंस इंडस्ट्री. आई विल टेल रिलायंस इंडस्ट्री, सर आई वांट टू मैन्युफैक्चर दिस लैपटॉप विच इज यूजफुल फॉर यू. सो इफ यू कैन गिव मी अ प्री ऑर्डर ऑफ से 1000 लैपटॉप advance money, then I will give you a discount of 20%. That means in turn Reliance Industry is going to save the money. Correct? So that means it is utilizing its money, right? So it says that service, तो सर्विस तो हो गया लोन देने का, एडवांस देने का, करेक्ट? सो इट इज अ सर्विस. बट एंट्री नंबर 27 व्हाट इट सेज इज दैट सर्विसेज बाय वे ऑफ एक्सटेंडिंग डिपॉजिट्स, किसी को डिपॉजिट दिया या किसी को लोन दिया या एडवांस दिया, इन सो फार एज द कंसिडरेशन इज रिप्रेजेंटेड. अब ये सर्विस जो लोन दे रहा हूं मैं, ये एडवांस दे रहा हूं मैं, इसका कंसिडरेशन क्या फॉर्म में आया है? या तो इस सिनेरियो में इंटरेस्ट आया है या इस सिनेरियो में डिस्काउंट आया है. इफ द कंसिडरेशन इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंटरेस्ट और डिस्काउंट, देन इट इज एन एग्जेम्प्ट ट्रांजैक्शन, राइट? सर्विस तो है बट इट इज एन एग्जेम्प्ट ट्रांजैक्शन, हेंस जीएसटी विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल. बट एज फार एज सर्विस इज कंसर्न, yes, it is a service, correct? So service includes activity relating to use of money, right? But not money itself. It's conversion by cash or any other mode, right? है मैं कैश से डीडी बना रहा हूं, मैं 2000 रुपए का नोट देके मैं 10-10 रुपए के नोट कलेक्ट कर रहा हूं, मैं यूएसडी देके आईएनआर कन्वर्ट कर रहा हूं, उसके लिए मेरे से बैंक एडिशनल सर्विस चार्ज करती है. देन दैट सर्विस ऑफ कन्वर्जन इज कॉल्ड एज सर्विस, करेक्ट? वो डेफिनेशन ऑफ सर्विस के अंदर आएगा. दैट मीन्स आई एम चेंजिंग द मोड ऑफ माई करेंसी, करेक्ट? सो गिविंग कैश टू बैंक एंड गेटिंग डीडी, traveler's check, for which bank charges a service charge, that is going to be called as my what? Service. Converting dollar to INR, मैंने डॉलर दिया और INR में कन्वर्ट किया, for which bank is charging me conversion charge, that is called as service. 2000 रुपए का नोट लेके गया और बोला 10-10 रुपए का नोट दे दो, that is called as सर्विस. उसके लिए बैंक ने कुछ चार्ज किया मेरे से, तो सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज सर्विस विच इज इंक्लूडेड इन द डेफिनेशन ऑफ service, but money per se is not included in the definition of goods or in the definition of services. Very important for the removal of doubt, it is hereby clarified that the expression service includes facilitating or arranging transactions in securities. Just a moment. Correct. So services includes facilitating or arranging transaction securities. So what used to happen was that now because of the definition, securities have been kept aside outside the purview of goods and services. तो आगे का बात ही नहीं बनता है. तो द स्टॉक ब्रोकर्स आर वेरी हैप्पी कि सिक्योरिटीज को बाहर रख दिया है तो हमारे लिए तो कोई सर्विस है ही नहीं. सो बट दी स्टॉक ब्रोकर्स लाइक कोटक, दी स्टॉक ब्रोकर्स लाइक HDFC, दे आर अलाउिंग Zerodha, they are allowing you to open a trading account and do the trading. They are providing you facility, they are arranging the transaction in the securities, right? So for this they are charging you certain commission, brokerage on this. Basically this is a service which they are providing and this is basically included in the service, right? So securities is not including, but arranging or facilitating the transaction securities are included in the definition of service, correct? So securities are neither goods nor services, but if stock brokers charge a commission, brokerage charges, portfolio maintenance charges, investment management fees, demat charges, those are the services which those brokers are providing and that will be included in the definition of service, right? So अभी तक ये जो definition of goods and services is clear to you guys. Goods के अंदर हमने देखा goods can be anything of the movable in nature, right? Goods are movable in nature and it includes what it other than money and securities and includes actionable claims, growing crops, grass, trees which are agreed to be severed, right? So इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? It will not include immovable property. That means immovable property का क्या मतलब हो गया? वो सर्विसेज के अंदर चला गया, बिकॉज सर्विसेज का डेफिनेशन ने क्या बोला? एनीथिंग अदर देन गुड्स. तो immovable property जब गुड्स के डेफिनेशन से बाहर है, that means it will fall in the definition of services, correct? So there we understood that the definition of service includes definition of service includes page number 19, one second. Definition of service includes other than goods, money and security. So money and security is neither goods nor services. So other than goods मतलब movable property. So any activity relating to immovable property will be falling part of the definition of services, right? मैंने सर्विस दिया मतलब मैंने रेंट पे दिया, या फिर मैंने immovable property को बेचा. So those all activity will be termed as services. बट इट इंक्लूड्स, दैट मीन्स जो चीजें एक्सक्लूड गई है उसमें से कुछ चीजें इंक्लूड भी हुई है. एक्टिविटीज रिलेटिंग टू यूज ऑफ मनी आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड यू. दैट मीन्स यूज ऑफ मनी मीन्स मैं पैसे को यूज कर रहा हूं, नॉट एज अ कंसिडरेशन बट टू अर्न मोर मनी, करेक्ट? दैट मीन्स आई एम गिविंग इट एज अ लोन, एडवांस, डिपॉजिट, ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ स्टफ. और कन्वर्जन करवा रहा हूं एंड द बैंक इज चार्जिंग सर्टेन कन्वर्जन फीस, दैट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज सर्विस. And arranging, facilitating transaction securities are also included in the definition of service. So this is the concept of goods and service, that is what we have understood as of now. Clear? Now, क्या खाली goods and services होने से GST applicable होगा? So we had seen कि goods and services is the beginning checklist. अब ये goods and services पे कुछ activity होनी चाहिए. That is the concept of supply. Correct? So now what are these activities? That is what we have to see first, and whether this supply can be done whether for consideration or without consideration, right? So ये activity होगी, it can be for consideration also, it can be without consideration also. So under what situation it will fall within the scope of supply, that is what we'll be seeing in the next topic, correct? So now let us jumping ahead. Section 7 क्या बोलता है? यहां तक हमारा गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज का डेफिनेशन क्लियर हो गया, करेक्ट? गुड्स क्या है, सर्विसेज क्या है, वी हैव अंडरस्टूड द बेसिक्स ऑफ द क्रक्स ऑफ द जीएसटी की गुड्स क्या है, सर्विसेज क्या है. जब तक गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज नहीं है तो मैं आगे ही नहीं बढ़ने वाला हूं, करेक्ट? नाउ वी आर मूविंग अहेड टू सी ये गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज के ऊपर कुछ एक्टिविटी होना चाहिए. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड द स्कोप ऑफ सप्लाई, करेक्ट? सो व्हाट इज द स्कोप ऑफ सप्लाई? लेट अस गो एंड सी द स्कोप ऑफ सप्लाई. सेक्शन 7(1). For the purpose of this act, the expression supply includes, right? So it's an inclusive definition. तो ये क्या क्या include करता है? Let us go and see now. Correct? So section 7(1) says, for the purpose of this act, the expression supply includes. Supply includes what? Section 7(1)(a, right? Section 7(1)(a, it states that all form of supply. Section 7(1) बोलता है कि it should include what? 7(1)(a says that all form of supply of goods or services or both, correct? So it talks about कि it should be having some form of supply, some activity of supply, correct? All forms of supply, that means different kinds of supply will be called as supply, correct? So all forms of supply of goods or services, right? हमको goods and services के बात करना है. So all forms of supply of goods and services. So what are the different forms of supply of goods and services? Let us go and see that now. It can be sale, transfer of property in goods from one person to another, that is called as sale for consideration. It can be transfer where the ownership may not be transfer but the right in the goods is transfer. That means ये मैंने बॉटल है, इसकी ओनरशिप में नहीं दे रहा हूं बट इसकी राइट साइड आपको मैंने ट्रांसफर कर दी, राइट है? सो आई एम नॉट गिविंग द ओनरशिप, दैट मीन्स ये मेरी जगह है. आई एम नॉट गिविंग अवे माई ओनरशिप बट आई एम जस्ट ट्रांसफरिंग ऑल द राइट्स. यू कैन डू वॉट एवर यू वॉन्ट ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर ऑफिस, राइट? So that is called as transferring. Then I'm bartering something. That means there are two bottles. I say, "Ki boss, you take this pink bottle and give me this silver bottle." So it is barter, right? If I say that you take my lecture and you give me the gold ring, provided if you're into gold business, that is called as barter. So this is also supply. Correct? Now, whenever we're talking about supply, we have to understand कि ये supply किसके point of view से है. This supply is from the point of view of the supplier, जो seller है, right है? जो transferer है, उसके point of view से मेरे को देखना है कि goods and services है कि नहीं और supply हो रहा है कि नहीं, correct? So this supply के जो forms हैं, supply की जो activities हैं, it can be what? Sale, it can be transfer, it can be barter, it can be exchange. Exchange का मतलब क्या हो गया? When I go to a mobile shop, right, I want to buy an iPhone 12, मेरे पास iPhone 10 है, so I go to mobile phone, I tell them please exchange my mobile phone. एक्सचेंज का मतलब क्या हो गया, मैं उसको पुराना फोन दूंगा और उसके ऊपर कुछ एडिशनल कैश भी दूंगा डिफरेंस का, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एक्सचेंज. सो इट इज नॉट, इट इज अ काइंड ऑफ बार्टर बट मनी इज ऑल्सो इन्वॉल्व, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एक्सचेंज. देन यू हैव लाइसेंस, राइट. सपोज इफ इट इज टैली, राइट, Tally is giving you a license to use the software for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So that is not transferring the whole property of that software to you, but it is just giving you an access for a particular period, right? So that is called as license. Similarly, you have rental, periodical payment for the use of another's property. मेरी property मैं rent पे दे रहा हूँ, that is called as rental. Lease, a lease is an agreement whereby the lessor, जो lessor है, जो lease देने वाला है, conveys to the lessee in return for the payment or series of payment the right to use an asset for an agreed period of time. That means जब मैं lease की बात करता हूँ, it's generally a long lease, 90 years lease, 100 years lease. It is basically आप मेरे को regular payment करते जाओ and you can use the property. That is called as lease, right? Disposal, disposal is basically one form of activity जहाँ पे मैं goods को बाहर फेंक रहा हूँ, right? I'm just disposing it of either as scrap or as second-hand item. So I'm not actually utilizing it at the full potential, but it might be defective. So मैं से scrap में goods को बाहर निकाल रहा हूँ या फिर second hand के तरीके से मैं goods को बाहर निकाल रहा हूँ, correct? So these can be the different forms of activity that can happen on the goods and services, correct? So we know that in order कि GST applicable होना चाहिए, goods and services के ऊपर कुछ activity होनी चाहिए. So what are those activities? Sale, transfer, barter, exchange, STBE, lease, rental, license, rental, lease, disposal, correct? LRLD, right? Sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, license, rental, lease and disposal, correct? So these should be the activity which should happen on the goods and services to be classified as some form of activity has happened on the particular goods and services, correct? So this can be like मैंने sale कर दिया, मैंने transfer कर दिया, मैंने barter कर दिया, मैंने exchange कर दिया, मैंने लाइसेंस पे दे दिया, मैंने रेंटल पे दे दिया, मैंने लीज पे दे दिया, मैंने डिस्पोज कर दिया. सो दिस इज व्हाट हैज हैपेंड टू गुड्स, राइट? सो बेसिकली गुड्स हैं, मैंने सेल कर दिया, आई ट्रांसफर द ओनरशिप. मैंने सिर्फ ट्रांसफर सारे राइट्स किए बट ओनरशिप मैंने खुद के पास रखा. मैंने ये बेच के दूसरा कोई गुड्स आपसे बार्टर में ले लिया, मैंने कोई एक्सचेंज में ले लिया, मैंने कोई आपको खाली यूज करने का लाइसेंस दिया 1 साल के लिए, मैंने आपको रेंट पे दिया है, मैंने या तो लॉन्ग लीज पे दे दिया है आपको या फिर मैंने आपको डिस्पोजल के लिए दे दिया है. तो दिस इज हाउ द मूवमेंट ऑन द गुड्स विल टेक प्लेस और द मूवमेंट ऑफ सर्विसेज विल टेक प्लेस. So this is called certain activity which should happen on the goods and services. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोग को? तो पहले हमने गुड्स देखा, फिर हमने सर्विसेज समझा क्या. अब ये गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज के ऊपर हम क्या देख रहे हैं? कोई एक्टिविटी होना चाहिए. सो व्हाट आर दोस एक्टिविटीज? सेल, ट्रांसफर, बार्टर, एक्सचेंज, लाइसेंस, रेंटल, लीज, डिस्पोजल, करेक्ट? नाउ दीज शुड हैपन, that these should be made or agreed to be made. That means किसी ने मुझे एडवांस दिया हो कि आप मुझे सेल करोगे आफ्टर 6 months. आई एम टॉकिंग फ्रॉम द सेलर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, करेक्ट? सो दिस इज बेसिकली I either have done the sale or I've received an advance that this particular sale you will do to me after 2 months, correct? So sale made or agreed to be made. तो या तो वो transaction activity होनी चाहिए या फिर agreed to be made होनी चाहिए. For a consideration, very important point over here is that for a consideration. So अगर ये activity होगी for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business, only in the course or furtherance of business. Tomorrow I cannot go and say that I want to sell this bottle, तो ये goods के definition के अंदर आएगा. नहीं, अगर मेरा business है bottle को sell करने का, then only it is going to be called in the form of सप्लाई. क्लियर है? इज दिस थिंग क्लियर? सो बेसिकली क्या क्या चीज है हमारे पास? मसाला है इसके अंदर. लेट अस एनालाइज व्हाट इज द मसाला टू बी कॉल्ड एज स्कोप ऑफ सप्लाई. लेट अस सी दिस. सो द इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स फॉर अ ट्रांजैक्शन to fall in the definition of supply are what? First, a form of supply. That means it should be either sale, transfer, barter, exchange. Some form of supply should happen. Of goods and services, we already know कि ये goods and services की बात कर रहे हैं हम. Made or agreed to be made होना चाहिए, right है? या तो अभी हो गया या फिर agreed to be made है. For a consideration in the course or furtherance of business, correct? So these are the ingredients to be called as supply. So out of this we know sale, transfer, barter, exchange क्या हमने समझ लिया. We know कि goods and services क्या है. Made और agreed to be made के लिए हम समझ गए कि या तो मुझे अभी हो गया ट्रांजैक्शन या फिर मेरे पास एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आ गया कि 2 साल 2 महीने के बाद आपको देना है या 3 महीने के बाद देना है, 6 महीने के बाद देना है. मेड है या एग्रीड टू बी मेड है. for a consideration. Now let us understand what do you mean by the term consideration, and then we'll also understand the term in the course or furtherance of business, correct? So now before getting into this, let us do some examples which will help us to identify कि ये supply है या नहीं है, correct? Now explain with the following transaction will constitute supply, yes or no, correct? So M is a dealer, M is a dealer, that means a businessman है, sold laptop, ठीक है, लैपटॉप बेचा M ने worth ₹1 lakh, okay, and issued invoice in the favor of N. So N is the recipient and M is the dealer. So it is what? Sale हो गया, इतने sold किया है. Because it is a sale, so some form of activity has happened. What is the form of activity? Sale. So what is the form of supply? Sale, and hence there is the supply, yes or no? Yes. Now Audi sold a car to Mr. A. ऑडी ने अपनी कार बेची मिस्टर एम को फॉर ₹25 lakh, एंड एम गेव हिम ओल्ड कार प्लस ₹15 lakh, दैट इज एन एक्सचेंज. दिस एक्सचेंज इज ऑल्सो फॉर्म ऑफ सप्लाई एंड हेंस इट इज ऑल्सो अंडर द डेफिनेशन ऑफ सप्लाई, करेक्ट? रोहन डील्स इन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, sold a laptop to Mr. Monty for ₹25,000 and Mr. Ram gave his wife's diamond ring and Mr. Monty gave his diamond ring. Rohan deals in electronic, sold laptop to Mr. Monty and for ₹5,000 and Mr. Monty, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा Mr. Monty gave him his wife's diamond ring. So Monty ने क्या किया कि लैपटॉप खरीदा और अपना डायमंड रिंग दे दिया. इट इज द बार्टर, करेक्ट? तो बार्टर है तो भी सप्लाई के अंदर आ जाएगा. यस. Monty provides accounts classes to Raghav and in turn Raghav gives Monty his gold ring. So it is again a barter. Yes, it is going to be called a supply. Monty, a manufacturer, produces shirts at the year end. He disposes of all the remaining waste of his factory. मेरा शर्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का काम है, तो मेरे फैक्ट्री में क्या हो गया, बहुत सारा स्क्रैप इकट्ठा हो गया. एट द ईयर एंड आई एम डिस्पोजिंग ऑफ दैट स्क्रैप फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन एंड हेंस दिस इज कॉल्ड एज डिस्पोजल एंड यस इट इज अ सप्लाई. क्लियर है? मैं डिस्पोज कर रहा हूँ इसको, राइट? मॉन्टी इज अ डीलर ऑफ न्यू फोन्स. मॉन्टी इज अ डीलर ऑफ न्यू फोन्स. उसका काम है फोन्स में डील करना. He supplied ₹24,000 to Mr. Balwinder along with an exchange of an old phone and the price of the new phone without exchange is ₹24,000. तो बलविंदर को मिस्टर मॉन्टी ने सेल किया फॉर ₹20,000 फॉर एन एक्सचेंज ऑफ ओल्ड फोन. तो बेसिकली एक्सचेंज भी हुआ है और एडिशनल पैसा भी गया है. यस इट इज सप्लाई. Monty, developer of information technology software and holder of license, thereon licenses to use the software was given to different centers for ₹20 lakh. तो सॉफ्टवेयर उसने बनाया पर उसने लाइसेंस पे दे दिया, राइट? सो इट इज अ लाइसेंसिंग एक्टिविटी एंड यस सप्लाई इज देयर, करेक्ट? Monty owns residential building in a commercial locality. Monty owns a residential building in the commercial locality. Large vacant land in the backyard is given on rent. तो जो मेरी कमर्शियल बिल्डिंग के पीछे की जगह है उसको मैंने रेंट पे दे दी for ₹1,80,000 per month to parking contractor. Yes, it is basically renting of my land and it falls in definition of supply. Goods sent for demonstration on return basis. Now if I'm sending you certain goods for demonstration on a returnable basis, that if you don't like, please give it back to me. So it is just a transfer. It is just a transfer. There is no sale, nothing happening. And yes, it is a transfer and therefore इसके अंदर क्या होगा? It is supply or no? Yes or no? It is not a supply. Why? Because it is not for a consideration. कंसिडरेशन कब आएगा? जब आपने सिलेक्ट कर लिया उसके बाद ही कंसिडरेशन आएगा, राइट? सो इन केस इफ इट इज नॉट फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन then it is going to be called as not a supply, correct? Mr. Arvind is the owner of Xerox machine. Mr. Arvind is the owner of Xerox machine. He transferred the right to operate the Xerox machine to Mr. Balwinder. उसने खाली बलविंदर को राइट पास ऑन कर दिया for a consideration of ₹10,000 per month for the next 4 months. And yes, it is a renting or leasing activity and yes, it is a supply also. Clear है? Is this thing clear to you guys? Correct है? Now let us move further. So now moving ahead with our discussion of our supply concept. Under supply, we had seen that it has to have some kind of an activity. So we had discussed different forms of activity in that now. In that masala, we had seen that it should happen for some consideration, correct? So we have undergone this form of supply. We have understood with the examples कि सेल कब होगा, ट्रांसफर कब होगा, बार्टर कब होगा, सप्लाई होगा या नहीं होगा. नाउ वी नो दैट इट इज हैज टू बी ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. वी हैड अ डिटेल्ड डिस्कशन ऑन गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. Made or agreed to be made, it is just that agreement has to be made or not. Now the two things which we have to cover to understand the concept of supply in detail is for consideration and in the course or furtherance of business or not, correct? So let us go and do this point number 4 evaluation now. What do you mean by the term for consideration? So it is on the page number is 22. So let us go on page number 22. It talks about the term consideration, right? So let us see that consideration is given as per section 2 clause 31. Consideration in relation to the supply of goods and services, right? So now what we're talking about is only consideration in relation to what? In relation to supply of goods and services or both, correct? So what do you mean by this is what we have to understand here. So consideration हम जब बात कर रहे हैं, we are not talking about anything else, only the consideration in relation to supply of goods and services, correct? So let us see what do you mean by this. So it can be basically any kind of a payment made or to be made, या तो तुरंत दिया हो या फ्यूचर में देने वाला है, whether in money or otherwise. That means the consideration can be either made at this point of time or in the future date, and the consideration may be in the form of money or in the form of kind also, correct? So consideration can be two method. One is in the form of money and one is in the form of kind, right? So both these methods will be considered as what? Your consideration. The monetary value of any, right? So let us go and see what do you mean by this. Any payment made to or to be made, whether in money in the form of consideration, right? इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ, अब ये जो गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज की सप्लाई के लिए मेरे को मिल रहा है, सो गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज में क्या होना चाहिए? इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ, इन रिस्पॉन्स टू और इन इंड्यूसमेंट ऑफ supply of goods and services, either in respect of supply, either in response to supply, or for the inducement of supply, correct? That means whether, now this consideration which the supplier will receive, this consideration he can receive either by the recipient himself, now we have the new term called recipient, or by any other person also, correct? So now where we are coming ahead is that for supply, first thing what we need to do is that activity hona chahiye, that we have understood. Now we are going to come to the term consideration. Now while reading the term consideration, we have come to a new term called recipient, correct? So we will be understanding what is the term called recipient also, right? So this consideration, the supplier can receive this consideration either from the recipient or any other person. Now what is the difference between these two? We'll be dealing in detail, right? But shall not include subsidy given by the central government or the state government. That means if the Indian government is giving subsidy to the supplier in the form of consideration, then that will not be included in the definition of consideration. Now only important catch here is that this subsidy given by should be from central government or state government. If the subsidy is given by a foreign government or it is given by some corporates, then that will be included into the definition of consideration, correct? So consideration means what? In response to, in respect of, or an inducement of supply of goods and services or both, whether by the recipient or by any other person, but shall not include subsidy given by the central government or state government. Clear? So, or the monetary value of an act or forbearance. मुझे कोई एडिशनल पैसा मिल रहा है ये काम करने के लिए, या फिर मुझे कुछ पैसा मिल रहा है ये काम नहीं करने के लिए, that is also called as consideration, correct? So basically I am getting in the money either for supply of goods and services or both, or for basically for not doing something, or right? So that is also called as what? Consideration, correct? Proviso, a deposit. Now very important here is that a proviso, a deposit given in respect of supply of goods and services or both shall not be considered as payment made for such supply unless the supplier applies such deposit as consideration for the said supply. Now whenever there is some deposits given to the supplier, right? Supplier has received some deposits, right? So अगर supplier के पास deposit आया है, now suppose if I am giving a property on rent, I have received the deposit of say 10 months and I am getting monthly payment of say 1 month each. But for some reason what has happened is that the person, the tenant to whom I gave this property on rent is not able to make the payment to me, right? So what I do is that I convert this deposit into my rental amount, right? So a deposit, when it is given just purely as deposit, that will not form part of consideration because this I have to return it back to him. But when this is used as a consideration, that means against my set off, then it will be calculated in the definition of consideration, correct? So basically a refundable deposit is not going to be called as consideration, but the deposit which can be utilized or which is utilized as a form of consideration is going to be said as consideration in the form of supply, correct? Is this thing clear to you guys? So let us quickly analyze what you mean by this. Now, points to be noted in the definition of this consideration is that payments made for supply in respect of, in response to, or for inducement of, right, may be by the recipient or by any other person. Now what do you mean by any other person? That means suppose if I am supplying certain goods to you and tomorrow Reliance gives me this payment that if I am supplying books in a particular village, so Reliance says that whatever books have been supplied in this village, Reliance out of its CSR is going to give me the payment, right? So the books are received by the somebody else, but payment has been received by given by somebody else, correct? So the payment may be made by the recipient himself or by any other person. That can be an NGO or company doing CSR, whatever may be, right? Some things which may are never be considered as the consideration are subsidy received from government and security deposit. Very, very important that these two things, security deposit, that is refundable security deposit, plus the subsidy received from government, will never ever be classified as your consideration. It can be monetary or non-monetary, both in kinds, and also for forbearance also is also a consideration, correct? So we have seen कि अगर कोई काम नहीं करना है आपको, उसके लिए भी पैसा मिलता है, then that is also going to be called as consideration, correct? So as of now, for a consideration what we are discussing is supply. Supply के अंदर 7(1)(a) के अंदर गए, 7(1)(a) ने क्या बोला कि कोई एक्टिविटी होना चाहिए for consideration. So what we have understood is the activity can be sale, bartered, exchange, all those activity, and it should be for consideration. Now when we are discussing the term consideration, we are coming to a point that consideration can be in kind or in money, and it can be given by the person who is received, or that is the recipient, or by any other person can also be called as consideration. Now only two things which can never be consideration is the subsidy given by the government to the supplier, or the security deposit which has to be refunded back, correct? This is what is there as far as consideration is concerned, right? So let us see some examples so that it becomes more clear to us. A cricket player is offered an Audi, right? A cricket player is offered an Audi to as an inducement for him to join the club. Now tomorrow if Mumbai Indians says to Mahendra Singh Dhoni that we will give you an Audi, please join the Mumbai Indian club, right? So cricketer is induced, given the payment for lalach diya gaya, right? A cricketer is offered an Audi for as an inducement for him to join the club. Here the car is the consideration for inducing the player to join the club and play for the club. Clear? So this is in kind. It is not in money, but it is in the form of kind, right? Why? Because the consideration is car here, correct? Similarly, a restaurant offers free meal to a bus driver. Now whenever we are traveling through bus, the bus driver stops at a certain restaurant for giving us the break for lunch, dinner, or evening snacks, correct? So here what we have seen is that the bus driver is never charged by the hotel restaurant owner, correct? So here the restaurant owner is basically giving a consideration in the form of free meal for servicing of the getting clients to the restaurant, right? So bus driver ने इसको क्या service दिया कि he is getting customers to his restaurant. So in order to compensate the bus driver, the restaurant owner is giving them what? Free meal. That is called as basically a marketing strategy, and this consideration is in the form of kind, that is in the form of free meal, correct? So consideration can be in the form of both cash and kind. So what we have understood is that this consideration can be in the form of kind also. Now who is the recipient? Let us go and quickly understand who is the recipient. 293 talks about recipient. Let us see what is recipient. Recipient of supply of goods and services means whom? Who are the person who are going to be called as recipient? Let us see that. So when a consideration is payable, right? जब मैं पैसे की बात कर रहा हूं, when a consideration is payable in for the supply of goods and services, the person who is liable to pay that consideration, whoever is liable to pay that consideration is going to be called as the recipient, correct? So there's an agreement, correct? So there's an agreement. Suppose that Reliance tells me that if I go and distribute books in this particular village ABC, so now there's a contract, right? So consideration is payable by whom? Reliance Industry. So in this situation, Reliance sorry, excuse me. So in this situation, Reliance is the recipient of the supply of goods and services, right? So when there is no consideration payable for the supply of goods, राइट, सपोज कि मैंने मेरे ब्रांच को कोई गुड्स ट्रांसफर किया, दैट मीन्स इन दैट सिचुएशन आई हैव अ ब्रांच इन बॉम्बे, आई हैव अ ब्रांच इन पुणे, आई एम ट्रांसफरिंग दिस गुड्स फ्रॉम बॉम्बे ब्रांच टू पुणे ब्रांच. So in this situation, I am not going to make the payment as such, right? Because it is the same company, right? So when there is no consideration payable for the supply of goods, then the person to whom the goods are delivered or made available, or to whom the possession of the or use of goods is given is made available, is the recipient, right? So when the goods are moving from Bombay branch to Pune branch, the Pune branch is the person to whom the goods are delivered, to whom the goods are made available, to whom the goods have been given possession of. They can now use this goods. So these are the person who are the recipient, correct? So जहां पे consideration है, तो person who is liable to make the payment, he is the recipient. जहां पे consideration नहीं है, तो जिसके पास उसका possession है, he is going to be called as the recipient. When, so this was in regards to goods जहां पे consideration नहीं है. When in regards to services there is no consideration, then the person to whom the service is rendered is the recipient directly, correct? So जहां पे कोई सर्विस के लिए अगर consideration नहीं है, then the person to whom the service is rendered is becoming the recipient. And any reference to a person to whom supply is made shall be construed as reference to the recipient of the supply, correct? कहीं पे भी रेफरेंस दिया गया है कि इसको सप्लाई किया गया है, then he will be considered as the recipient. He shall also, the recipient shall also include an agent acting as such on behalf of the recipient in relation to goods and services supplied. अगर ये goods and services agent के पास भी जाएगा, then agent will also be called as your recipient. Clear hai? Is this thing clear? Now, while reading the definition of term called of consideration, we have come across two words. One is the recipient and one was the subsidy, right? So recipient, we had understood that in case of recipient, when it is for consideration, whether it is for goods and services, so the person who is liable to make the payment, he becomes the recipient. When it is not for the consideration, no consideration, then again you divide separately goods and services. In case of goods, whoever is holding the possession, he becomes the recipient. In case of supplier, to whom the services have been provided, he becomes the recipient. Correct? And this is what is there as far as the concept of recipient is concerned. Now here we have also seen that if the government is giving any subsidy to the supplier, then that is not going to be considered as your consideration, correct? So let us see what do you mean by subsidy here. Let us sort this example also. A sum of money, subsidy means what? Paisa, granted, it's a grant by the state or a public body to help the industry, business keep the price of the commodity or service low. Now suppose if tomorrow, if I go to say Kolhapur, there in Kolhapur, there are a lot of Kolhapuri chappals, right? So in case if the government says that if you are going to produce a lot of Kolhapuri chappals, they will give me a grant, correct? If I produce this Kolhapuri chappal and sell this chappals, the government is going to give me a grant. So if the government is going to give me a grant, so that will reduce my costing. So in order to promote this industry, the government keeps on giving these grants, correct? So this is what is called as subsidy. Now, subsidy, if it is given by central government and state government, they will not form part of consideration and hence not included in the value of supply, correct? So agar subsidy किसने दिया, central government ने दिया, state government ने दिया, then they will not form part of your value of supply and hence it will not be forming part of a consideration as well. But subsidy, if it is given by any other entity, now tomorrow if Reliance says that we want to go green, so you have to create some, you have to manufacture something which is in theme of our go green, right? So for this they are going to give us this subsidy. So if they say that if you are going to produce books which are made without which are go green books, so you will be getting 10 rupees subsidy per book or 10 rupees subsidy in the cost of the book what you are making. So consideration and it is included in the value of supply, correct? So subsidy, if it is given by any other entity and if it is directly linked to the price, then it is going to be called as consideration and included in the value of supply. But subsidy if given by any other entity and if it is not directly linked to the price, then the consideration, it is consideration but not including the value of supply. Example, subsidy rupees 50,000 to construct water filter in a school, correct? It is a consideration but not includable in the value of supply. Clear? Right? Let us see some examples so it will become more clear to you guys. ABC provides GST classes to students for 15,000 rupees per student after considering the subsidy, right? The central government provides him a subsidy of 5,000 rupees per student and he also received rupees 3,000 per student as subsidy from a charitable institution, that is from somebody other than the central government and state government. What will be the value of service in such situation? Correct? So what we are discussing here is value of service. Just give me a moment. So value of service here is what? 15,000 rupees what is charging to the students plus 5,000 rupees will not be included in the consideration and it will not be included in value of supply. Why? Because it has been given by the government, and the balance 3,000 rupees which is getting from the charitable institution, that will form part of the value of supply. So rupees 15,000 plus rupees 3,000, that is equal to 18,000, and Mr. ABC has to pay GST. Please change this. Mr. ABC has to pay GST to government on 18,000 rupees, that is the value of supply. Subsidy received from government is not considered as consideration, correct? Simple. Now ABC classes provides CPT coaching in Bangalore. The coaching per student is rupees 20,000 rupees. However, it received rupees 2,000 per student as subsidy from the government of Karnataka. So 20,000 की क्लासेस, उसके ऊपर 2,000 रुपए कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट से इसको सब्सिडी मिलता है. 2,000 rupees per student from an NGO, right? From an NGO that is other than the government, 2,000 rupees more they are getting, and hence the fees per student collected is 16,000 rupees, correct? So out of 20,000, 2,000 is coming from the government, 2,000 coming from the NGO. So what they are collecting from student is only 16,000 rupees. Compute the value of supply on which GST is payable. Very simple. 16,000 collected from the student and 2,000 collected from the NGO. This will become the total 18,000 and GST is collectible on rupees 18,000. Subsidy received from government is not considered as consideration. Clear है? Is this thing clear? So as of now अभी तक हमने क्या देखा? 7(1)(a) के अंदर ने क्या बोला? That supply को include करने के लिए there has to be certain activity that can be sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, rental, disposal, any kind of an activity for a consideration, right? Now when we read the word consideration, we came that the consideration can be basically it can be in respect of, in response to an inducement of, right? इसके लिए payment मिलेगा for goods and services, and it can be basically what? In kind also, and payment can be made either by the recipient or somebody else also, correct? And here we have also seen that in case of the subsidy which is received as a consideration, if it is received from central government and state government, then that has not to be included, and in case if it is received from somebody else, that will be included in the value of supply. Here also one thing what we saw is a proviso which talks about the deposit, right? So let us go and now read about the deposit. What do you mean by this deposit, so that it becomes it will be completing the whole scenario of your consideration aspect. So this is again a repetition. I would request you guys to please cancel a sum of money, subsidy, all this thing. It is a repetition of the previous example. So just escape this. Now deposit. When we talk about this deposit, मैंने आपको deposit दिया, right? So that now if suppose I am taking this office premises on rent, so I have to issue a deposit. So sorry, let's talk it from the supplier's point of view. This is my office, I am giving you on rent, right? So when I am giving you this office on rent, I am receiving certain deposits also from you. I am receiving on a monthly rental income also from you, right? So deposits are to be treated as consideration. So when this deposit, I have to refund it back to you, correct? So what is happening guys, then let me just explain it to you. ये मेरा office space है Mr. A का. You come to me and ask me, sir, I want to take this office space on rent. So what do I say? That okay, Ankit, what you can do is that I will give you this office space for 10,000 rupees monthly as rent and 1 lakh rupees as deposit, which will be called as security deposit in case if you're not able to make the payment, in case if you're not able to pay the electricity bill, in case if you damage my property. So it is just a security deposit. If nothing of this sort happens, I will refund this back to you 1 lakh rupees, correct? So this is what is the concept of deposit, correct? You all agree? So deposits are to be treated as consideration if it is in the nature of advance. That means now there can be second option. What I say is that Ankit, if you're going to make a monthly payment, then you'll have to make the payment of 12,000 rupees each. That will come to 1,44,000 rupees per year. Now, in case if you make a lump sum advance payment to me, I am going to give you at 1,20,000 rupees only. Correct? So, in case if Ankit makes 1,20,000 rupees as a payment to me, then it is going to be called as what? Consideration, because it is in the nature of advance. And but if the deposit is in the nature of security deposit, the same will not be considered as consideration. Clear है? Is this thing clear to you guys? समझ में आ रहा है? So अगर मैंने एडवांस में पैसा ले लिया आपसे and I'm not taking anything else, why? I'm taking it in advance because I'm giving a discount to you. So if this is in advance, then what it is happening, it is going to be called as consideration. But if it's just a security deposit which I have to refund it back to you if nothing goes wrong, then that is not going to be called as consideration. Clear? Is this thing clear to you guys? राइट है. सो अभी तक हमने सप्लाई का पार्ट देखा. सप्लाई के अंदर वी हैव सीन द एक्टिविटीज, वी हैव सीन द दैट इट शुड हैपन फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन. देयर वाज वन मोर थिंग व्हिच वाज मेंशन्ड इन द डेफिनेशन, दैट वाज दैट दिस सप्लाई, वन सेकंड, 18 19 So the masala of supply of this particular section, supply, talks about that there should be some form of activity, we've already discussed, of goods and services made or agreed to be made for a consideration. Now the fifth element which is there, that it should be in the course or furtherance of business. So let us now further discuss this on the point of course or furtherance of business so that we can understand in detail what we are discussing about, correct? Now coming to point number 24, business, that is business includes, right? बिजनेस इन दिस, यहाँ पे आपको चेंज करना पड़ेगा. यहाँ पे ऑथर्स कमेंट जो है, यू हैव टू मेंशन ऑथर्स कमेंट ओवर हियर, एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू बी स्टेटेड एज स्टेटेड इन द एक्ट. देयर इज अ टाइपिंग एरर, करेक्ट. सो सेक्शन 2 सब सेक्शन क्लॉज 17, उसके अंदर क्लॉज ए क्या बोलता है? एनी ट्रेड, कॉमर्स, मैन्युफैक्चर, प्रोफेशन, vocation, adventure, wager or any other similar activity, whether or not in the pecuniary benefit, right? That is going to be called as what? Business. So now what we are trying to understand is that whatever activity is happening, right? Whether it's sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, rental, whether it is happening for business or not, whether it is happening for the furtherance of business or not. When I talk about furtherance, whether it is acting as a marketing activity for business or not, correct? So what we are trying to understand here is that मैं सप्लाई को पूरा ब्रेक कर लिया हूं. आई हैव ब्रोकन द सप्लाई का कॉन्सेप्ट, आई हैव ब्रोकन द सप्लाई कॉन्सेप्ट इनटू द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द एक्टिविटी, इनटू द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ कंसिडरेशन, एंड इट शुड बी फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ बिजनेस और इन द कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ बिजनेस. So now what we're discussing is the business aspect as far as this particular concept is concerned, correct? So now जब मैं जा रहा हूं इसके अंदर, so it is talking about that कि business क्या है? What is business? Business is any kind of trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, adventure, wager or any other similar activity, whether or not in the pecuniary benefit. Now what do you mean by these terms? So trade means action of buying and selling goods and services. If I'm into the activity of buying and selling goods and services, it is called as business. Commerce means what? Buying and selling on a large scale, that is called as commerce. Profession means what? I refers to career with training and qualification, that means degree based. It can be what? Example like CAs and doctors, they go under training, they go under degree and all those qualifications, right? So that are called as profession. Vocation means what? Skill based kind of an activity, right? Job that requires skills, say kind of plumber, electrician, these are what? A vocation kind of person. So person who are doing this kind of activity are also doing business, right? It can also be the innate ability, example a poet, a talent, it can be a business for him, correct? Wager, the person who works on a daily basis, right? Wager means a formal term for bet. Betting करने का जो काम है, that is also business. Example, betting, gambling, lottery. for pecuniary benefit means monetary benefit, right? That means it might be for monetary benefit or it might not be for monetary benefit, then also it can be classified as business, correct? So what we're trying to understand here is कि ये जो business है वो क्या है, because supply होने के लिए the activity on the goods and services shall be for a consideration, and it can be basically, it should be for the purpose of business or for the furtherance of business, in the course or furtherance of business, right? So pecuniary benefit मतलब मैं अगर ट्रेड कॉमर्स कर रहा हूं तो कंसिडरेशन तो आ रहा है, बट इट इज माइट नॉट बी नेसेसरी कि मैं प्रॉफिट के लिए ही कर रहा हूं, राइट? इट कैन बी नॉन प्रॉफिट एक्टिविटी ऑल्सो, राइट? सो नाउ एनी एक्टिविटी फर्दर बिजनेस के अंदर क्या क्या इंक्लूड होगा? एनी एक्टिविटी और ट्रांजैक्शन इन कनेक्शन विद और इंसिडेंटल टू और एंसिलरी टू ए अबव. सो ये जो मैं एक्टिविटी कर रहा हूं इसके कनेक्शन में, इसके इंसिडेंटल और इसके रिलेटेड जो भी एक्टिविटी है, that can also be termed in the definition of included in the definition of term business. That means डिस्पोजल ऑफ गार्बेज. अगर मैं शर्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में हूं या फिर मैं पेपर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में हूं तो मेरे पास गार्बेज होगा तो उसको डिस्पोज करना पड़ेगा. सेल ऑफ स्क्रैप एट द ईयर एंड आई हैव स्क्रैप, आई हैव टू डिस्पोज दैट ऑफ. सेल ऑफ ओल्ड मशीन, मेरे मशीन्स खराब हो गए, आई कैन नॉट यूज दैट मशीनरी, so it's an ancillary activity. It is not my regular activity, but it's an ancillary activity. Sale of newspapers, sale of repossessed items by the bank, financial institution, buying a truck to deliver goods to customer, etc. So these are something which is called as ancillary activity or basically incidental activity. Now when you read this term sale of repossessed items by bank or financial institution, so major activity, major business of banks and banks is to provide fund, to keep the deposits of the person, to give loans. बट अगर कोई लोन रीपे नहीं कर रहा है और बैंक ने अगर कोई गुड्स को रीपोजेस कर लिया तो उसको बेचेगा, राइट है? सो इट इज इन एडिशन टू हिज बिजनेस, इट इज नॉट हिज रेगुलर बिजनेस, बट इट इज incidental or ancillary to his business that he has to sell that goods to take out his money, correct? So that is what is the concept of an activity or transaction in connection with or incidental to or ancillary to A above. Clear? Now any activity or transaction in the nature of A above, whether or not there is a volume, frequency, continuity or regularity of such transaction, it is not necessary कि ये जो भी मैं एक्टिविटी A के अंदर बोल रहा हूँ it should happen on a daily basis, इतना ही frequency होना चाहिए, इतना volume होना चाहिए. There is no restriction on that. Even if one transaction in a year can be classified as the business itself, correct? Then supply or acquisition of goods including capital assets and services in connection with commencement or closure of business. Now in case if I am starting my business, right, so I am going to acquire the goods, तो कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं उठ सकता है कि बिजनेस तो चालू ही नहीं हुआ है तो आप जो गुड्स अक्वायर कर रहे हो तो वो बिजनेस कैसे हो गया, राइट? सो सप्लाई और एक्विजिशन ऑफ गुड्स, right? So basically acquisition of goods, capital goods for commencement of business is also business activity. Or when I'm winding up the business, I might dispose of my machinery or I might sell off my machinery, I might sell off my capital goods. So then there can be argument that you're not doing a business, you're closing the business, then how it is a business activity, right? So even starting a business is a business activity or closing a business is a business activity, correct? Now provision by a club, एक जो club है, association है, society है और any such body फॉर अ सब्सक्रिप्शन और एनी अदर कंसिडरेशन, वो सब्सक्रिप्शन चार्ज करती है मंथली बेसिस में, एनुअली बेसिस पे, या फिर एनी काइंड ऑफ कंसिडरेशन लेती है ऑफ द फैसिलिटीज और बेनिफिट्स टू इट्स मेंबर एज द केस में बी. सो दैट इज द बिजनेस ऑफ द क्लब, करेक्ट? सो वेन एवर अ क्लब रिसीव मेंबरशिप फीस, एनी अदर कंसिडरेशन फ्रॉम द मेंबर्स, इवन सच ट्रांजैक्शन शैल बी कंसिडर्ड एज बिजनेस. सो जो मेरा मेंबरशिप फीस आएगा वो तो बिजनेस है ही, उसके अलावा जो मैं दूसरा कंसिडरेशन ले रहा हूं दैट विल ऑल्सो बी कॉल्ड एज बिजनेस एक्टिविटी, करेक्ट? एडमिशन फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन टू एडमिशन, वन सेकेंड जस्ट होल्ड ऑन. एडमिशन फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन, लेट मी जस्ट रेक्टिफाई दिस. एडमिशन फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन ऑफ पर्सन, एडमिशन किसको दे रहा हूं? पर्सन को दे रहा हूं. फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन to any premises, that means मैं admission fees charge कर रहा हूँ. Suppose if I am owner of Adlabs Imagica or if I am owner of some theme park and I charge the admission fees to the person to enter into the theme park, to enter into premises, then that entry fees or for entry into business premises is also considered as business, right? So entry fees will also be considered as a business activity. Now this exemption linking is an exemption which we'll be doing with the exemption chapter here and here both, correct? So let's not get into this right now. Services supplied by a person as the holder of an office which has been accepted by him in the course or furtherance of his trade, profession, or vocation. Now, if I am a chartered accountant, if I am a company secretary, some company comes and approach me because of my expert knowledge, please join me as a director in the company. So I am just doing a value addition in my profession, right? So that is also going to be called as business only. Clear? Now, coming forward, H, activities of a race club, including by way of totalizator or a license to bookmaker, or activities of a licensed bookmaker in such club, right? So basically, making the supply of license to operate a race club, betting of activities by a totalizator is also called as a business activity, right? जो totalizator है, जो license दे रहा है, that license also will be called as business only. Any activity or transactions undertaken by central government, state government or any local authority in which they are engaged in public as public authority. अगर कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन लोकल अथॉरिटी कर रही है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कर रही है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कर रही है, जहां पे वो एक लोकल अथॉरिटी के रूप में वो काम कर रही है, then the government activities are also considered as business as a supply, and there however they are not a supply because of the section 7.2 of supply definition. जब हम 7.2 पढ़ेंगे हमको समझ में आ जाएगा, right? As of now, just for basic understanding, that is also called as business activity, correct? So GST is essentially a tax only on commercial transactions, right? जहां पे consideration है. Hence only those supply that are in the course or furtherance of business qualify as supply under GST, right? We already know this. Resultantly, any supplies made by an individual in his personal capacity do not come under the ambit of GST unless they fall within the definition of business, right? So अगर मैं कोई genuinely one or two activities करता हूं, then I might not fall into the definition of business. Business तभी होगा जब वो definition of business के अंदर fall कर रहा है, correct? Is this thing clear? So let us see some examples which will give us more clarity into this. Okay, now business का example देखेंगे हम लोग. Let me just hide all this first for you guys. यहाँ पे प्लीज मेक द करेक्शन, इट इज ऑल्सो 7.1 स्मॉल ए, नॉट अ कैपिटल ए, इट्स अ 7.1 स्मॉल ए, करेक्ट? सो बिजनेस सेक्शन 217, इसका एग्जाम्पल्स लेट अस सी. एग्जाम्पल्स मीन्स व्हाट? Manoj buys a car for his personal use, right? Mr. Manoj is buying the car for his personal use and after a year sells it to a car dealer. तो मैंने कार खरीदा और मैंने आज बेच दिया. Sale of car by Manoj to car dealer is not a supply. Sale of car by car to Manoj car dealer is not a supply because मेरा बिजनेस नहीं है कार को बेचने या खरीदने का, राइट है? तो यहाँ पे कार डीलर है Manoj. Here is Mr. Manoj. He goes to Audi showroom. He buys an Audi car. He uses this Audi for a particular year and after a year he goes and sells these cars to Mr. Car dealer. He is basically somebody else. He is doing some business or whatever it may be, right? So buying and selling of car is not as business, right? So sale of car by Manoj to car dealer is not a supply under CGST Act because said supply is not made by Manoj in the course or furtherance of business. Clear है? वो उसका काम नहीं है, right? Now similarly यहाँ पे भी you have something called as Reena. Just change the word. Let me just change it here for you guys. Please make the correction. Reena sold her old gold bangles and earrings to Abhushan Jewelers, right? Riya अपने Abhushan Jewelers में गई. She sold her old gold bangles and earrings to the Abhushan Jeweler. Now same thing happened here. This Abhushan Jeweler and Reena here, right? This is Reena. I'm very bad at doing. Please forgive me. This is Reena. So Reena goes to Abhushan Jeweler, sells off her bangles and sells off her earrings. Now basically she is selling her gold jewelry to the jeweler. Now when she's selling this gold jewelry to the jeweler, whether this will be called a supply or not. So sale of old gold jewelry by an individual to a jeweler will not constitute supply as the same cannot be said to be in the course or furtherance of the business of an individual. मेरा या वो रीना का वो बिजनेस नहीं है कि उसको गोल्ड ज्वेलरी बेचना है खरीदना, करेक्ट? तो दैट इज व्हाई it might not be called as the concept of supply. अब ये जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, there can be an argument because when we read the definition of the term called supply, there was one particular clause which talked about clause C of 217 that the volume, the frequency कितना ट्रांजैक्शन होना चाहिए, दैट इज नॉट रेलेवेंट, इट इज इमटेरियल. सो देयर कैन बी एन आर्ग्यूमेंट दैट दिस इज वन ट्रांजैक्शन और फर्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ माई बिजनेस, so it has to be classified in business, right? So the above view has been taken in the departmental as per the departmental FAQs and press release, correct? So this just read it, that's enough, right? You can just change this. यहाँ पे राम की जगह आपका आ जाएगा मनोज. Okay, so since business includes vocation, therefore sale of goods or services as vocation is also supply under GST, correct? So this is what is there. तो यहाँ पे argument होने का chance भी है that because जो clause 217C बोलता है कि the volume, the frequency is not relevant, so there can be an argument that this is my first transaction and I want to classify it as my business, right? So there is a possibility, correct? Now this has to be by a person, correct? अब ये person है, that is the definition once again, just hold on. Right, so यहाँ पे जब मैं देख रहा हूँ कि supply है, this has to be this consideration है, this has to be done by some person, correct? So what is the definition of person? Let us go and see the definition of person now. So person includes, you'll have to make certain changes here. There's a mistake what has happened over here in the book, so I will just be telling you what changes you have to do. Person includes a individual, B an HUF, C a company. A an HUF, B an individual, C a company. D a firm. सो कौन हो सकता है पर्सन जो ये बिजनेस एक्टिविटी करेगा? इट कैन बी एन इंडिविजुअल, इट कैन बी एन HUF, इट कैन बी ए कंपनी और इट कैन बी ए फर्म, करेक्ट? इट कैन बी एन LLP. इट कैन बी एन LLP. इट कैन बी एनी बॉडी कॉर्पोरेट, सॉरी LLP. इसके बाद आपका आएगा एन AOP. AOP विल कम अहेड ऑफ दिस, राइट? सो F विल बी एन AOP BOI. उसके बाद आएगा कॉर्पोरेट्स. Any corporation, basically the government corporations established by under the central government, state government act, provincial act, any kind of a corporation, that will also come here. Then you have a body corporate. Then you have a cooperative society. Then you have a local authority. Then you have something called as your central government and state government. Then you have societies, and as defined in the Societies Registration Act, that is L. One second. Then you have trust. And that then you have any artificial judicial person who are not falling above, correct? So these all will be falling into the definition of person, correct? After this जो है, this is a repetition, you can delete these stuffs, correct? Right, so every person means what? Person includes an individual, an HUF, a company, a firm, a LLP, correct? ये तो basic हमको पता है. Plus AOP BOI, any corporation established under the central government, state government, any body corporate, a cooperative society, local authority, central government, state government, societies, trust, and even the artificial judicial person will be falling under the definition of what? Your basically individuals, person, right? तो ये सारे person अगर supply करेंगे for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business, then only it will fall in the definition of supply, correct? Is this thing clear? Now we'll see certain circular which will help us give our most clarity कि क्या है इसके अंदर, right? So now the artwork has been sent by, now let us understand this. See, suppose he's an artist, he sends his artwork to a display center, to an exhibition center, correct? Now the goods are moving, the paintings are moving from this place to another. Now whether it is for consideration, no consideration, right? Because exhibition hall will not give any kind of a consideration for these particular goods. Exhibition company will display his paintings, and if somebody buys his painting, then the exhibition hall will give them the money to the exhibitionist, correct? So artwork sent by an artist to galleries for exhibition is not a supply, as no consideration flows from the gallery to the artist, right? So when the goods are moving from this person to this person, exhibitionist is not giving them any kind of a revenue, any kind of a consideration. So it will not fulfill the supply का जो 7(1)(a है, it will not fulfill the definition of 7(1)(a which talked about कि supply होना चाहिए for a consideration, right? Hence it will not be falling in the definition of supply. So this is what is mentioned, and when this particular person buys this particular painting, then only the exhibitionist will be making the payment to them, correct? And at that point of time, GST would become applicable. What will be the documents which he has to send if this is not a supply? Then what are documents to be issued while sending these goods are basically delivery challan along with the e-way bill that has to be sent by this painter to this exhibition hall, correct? Is this thing clear? So that is what has been mentioned here कि supply नहीं है because it is not for consideration, and that is what he has to maintain. That means a delivery challan along with the bill of supply. Clear? Now moving further. So we have discussed 7(1)(a. 7(1)(a ने हमको क्या बोला? 7(1)(a ने हमको ये समझाया that there has to be certain activity on the goods and services and made or agreed to be made for a consideration, correct? For a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. If all these masalas are fulfilled, then it falls under the scope of supply. Now 7(1)(b is talking about specifically importation of service. वहां पे जो हमने देखा that was more concentrated towards the activity happening in the Indian context. इंडिया के अंदर जो एक्टिविटी हो रहा है वो सारा 7(1)(a के अंदर कवरेज दिया गया. Now 7(1)(b speaks about importation of service, right? Importation of service only. Important word, the catch word here is service. It is not including goods. Why not goods? Because importation of goods के ऊपर जो GST लगेगा that is under the customs law, correct? So whatever is importation of goods की जब हम बात करेंगे we refer to the customs law का GST, and whenever we are discussing about importation of services for a consideration, whether or not it is for business or for personal purpose, then also it will be classified as what? It will be classified as what? Your supply, correct? सो यहाँ पे मैं देख रहे हैं सप्लाई के लिए पहला हमने देख लिया विद इन द इंडिया जो मार्केट सिनेरियो था वो हमने समझा. नाउ वी आर इंपोर्टिंग सर्टेन सर्विसेज, राइट? फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन. मैं इंपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ कुछ सर्विस और मैं कंसिडरेशन दे रहा हूँ, राइट? व्हाट इज हैपनिंग हियर दैट दिस इज इंडिया. I am residing here in Bombay. I am importing some services from Dubai, such some designing services. So I am importing the service and I am making the payment in the form of this for the consideration, right? It is not free what I am receiving. So importation of services for a consideration, whether or not in the course of furtherance of business, will be included in the definition of supply. Correct? So import of service, sections 211 of the IGST Act. This is basically means that importation of service means the supply of any service where इंपोर्टेशन ऑफ सर्विस का मतलब क्या होगा? वेयर द सप्लायर ऑफ सर्विस इज लोकेटेड आउटसाइड इंडिया. जो सप्लाई कर रहा है सर्विस ही इज लोकेटेड आउटसाइड इंडिया. सो हियर इन दिस सिनेरियो दुबई इज द प्लेस वेयर द सप्लाई इज लोकेटेड. ही इज लोकेटेड आउटसाइड इंडिया. द रेसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विस, आई एम रिसाइडिंग हियर इन मुंबई, is located in India, and the place of supply of service is also in India. This will be dealing more in detail in the while we reading the place of supply provision. So as of now, just understand this much, that the supplier of service is located outside India, the recipient of service is located inside India, and hence the place of supply is also within India. Then it is called as import of service. Clear? So 7(1)(a speaks about all the domestic transactions which happen like sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, rental, disposal, and 7(1)(b is talking about import of services. Why? Because import of goods is already covered under customs law, correct? So local market का हमने देख लिया 7(1)(a के अंदर, and we are talking about international market. Then we have 7(1)(b what we are discussing about, correct? Now in this this analysis points to be observed while applying this. It should be important. It should be importation of service and not goods. So here we are talking only of services and not goods, because for goods GST is levied and collected under the Customs Act. Import for a consideration. Import should happen for a consideration. Import may or may not be for the purpose of business, but this should happen for a consideration. This exemptions and OIDR services, which will be dealing it later. So no nothing to worry here. right? So we'll be dealing with later when we're reading exemption chapter along with the import export chapter, correct? Now this is an example which you can go through, very easy to understand, so nothing much to explain over here. So like this is what is there in 7.1b. So 7.1b specifically discussing about the importation of services for a consideration, whether or not for the purpose of business, that is not an important scenario, correct? So 7.1a हमने समझा, which is talking about activity on the goods and services, right? That means for a consideration. Now 7.1b, what we've understood is that this is basically 7.1b is talking about what? It is talking about what? Importation of service. तो यहाँ पे हमने देखा it was all for the global Indian market, and here we are touching upon the global market. So importation of service के ऊपर भी, is it called a supply or not? We have understood, correct? So in case if there is an importation of service for a consideration, whether or not in the form of course of business or not, they will be called as your supply, correct? Is this thing clear? So let's move further and understand further in this. You can read this illustration, nothing much to understand here. You will it's a self-read stuff. Now what we have to see is that हमने अभी तक दो चीजें देख ली, 7.1a and 7.1b. So 7.1a spoke about all the activities which are happening for a consideration and happening within India. 7.1a. 7.1b spoke about the activities for consideration and it is import, that is from outside India. Now 7.1c is speaking about certain activity which is going to be called as deemed supply. That means supply, it is without consideration. That means जहाँ पे पैसे का लेन देन का involvement नहीं है. So there can be situations where we see this section 7.1c is going to be called as such an activity जहाँ पे we will be discussing about deemed supply. That means we are not talking about the consideration. That means consideration जहाँ पे नहीं है, then what is going to happen is that then there can be a lacuna जहाँ पे consideration नहीं है, मैंने goods यहाँ से वहाँ भेज दिए but consideration नहीं आया, there's a possibility that consideration ऊपर से black में आ गया. So in order to avoid such situation, these are certain transactions which are going to be called as deemed supply even when the transaction is without a consideration, correct? So 7.1c speaks about deemed supply, which is also called as negative list, which is a deemed supply, that is supply without consideration. Clear hai? Is this thing clear to you guys? So now what we have seen 7.1a and 7.1b, and we have understood the concept of goods, we have understood the concept of services, we have understood the scope of supply. Supply के अंदर हमने देखा कि ये goods and services certain activity होना चाहिए, that can be sale, transfer, barter, exchange. Then we understood 7.1a के अंदर कि ये इसके अंदर we went inside and we understood कि that has to be for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. And then we also understood 7.1b where we spoke about that there should be import of services and for consideration. Now this is for the consideration part. In the next session what we'll be doing is section 7.1c, which will be discussing about the without consideration activity kya hoga. Now after we finish this 7.1c, then we will jump on to understand कि yes, this is a supply. Now whether this supply is a supply of services or supply of goods, that we have to cover. And then we will also have to cover कि there can be certain situations जहाँ पे किसी चीज को neither supply of goods बोला जाएगा, neither supply of services बोला जाएगा, right? So those are the things which we'll be covering in the next lecture. So till that time, I request you guys to please solve the questions up to section 7.1b so that you are thorough with the concept what we've studied, and then only come and view the next lecture, correct? So take care, bye bye, have fun.